Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tub Takes. And thank you, Himmy Turner, for the raid. What a great start right off the bat. Hello, everyone. This is for those of you who are new here, this is a weekly video podcast where we talk about all of the latest and greatest happenings in VGC. And this time we have a banger episode. We got to recap both the Lima special event that happened a couple weeks ago. We recap Louisville regionals that happened this past week, and we have to talk about the Lille regionals that are happening next week. And we got a banger cast today too. We got the undefeated Swiss player at Louisville Regionals. We got Carson Comfer. How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing pretty good.
Thank you for coming on. It's great to have you. And of course, we've also got the Blastoise player that made day two, went 8-3. We got Tommy DeRosa. How you doing?
What's up, squad?
And of course, we got my lovely co-host Alex. How's it going?
Doing good. Got a different setup here. We're almost PC gamers, but in the meantime, still on the laptop for one more week.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. It's gonna be really fun. And of course, as per usual, if you can't watch the entire thing, can't stick around, this will be up on YouTube tomorrow! !YT in chat. You can check it out tomorrow afternoon sometime. But yeah, let's jump right into it. So, first and foremost, we have some housekeeping stuff that we got to talk about. If anyone knows a lawyer that is unemployed, Nintendo of America is hiring an intellectual property lawyer. I have no idea why they would be hiring this right now. But it does seem like they are in need of someone to get some legal advice from. So make sure to tag your favorite lawyer in the replies to this tweet. And yeah. With that, and also on a completely unrelated note, I've got the least problematic fire starter here, as well. He's a good friend of mine. And all right. And so with that, let's talk about the registration is for Toronto Regionals is coming up. Toronto Regionals, of course, is in December. That'll be opened up in Wednesday, at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So keep a lookout for that. Again, we don't know how fast these regionals are going to fill up. I think Louisville, they opened up more slots, so it didn't fill up. I don't think it filled up. Sacramento is still open. Carson, I know you registered for that today. Is that right?
I did. Back on the addiction grind.
Rage booking, huh?
So yeah, so we got registration for Toronto. Make sure to register if you're going to that. Is anyone here going to Toronto Regionals?
I am.
I don't know. I have no clue, man. If I don't register, I might just go to show up. It's the only one that's like drivable for me the entire year.
Actually, if you check the quotes on my Twitter, you'll see what I posted just before the episode here. But I'll just say it out loud now: is that I was like, kind of uncertain if I am going to this tournament or not, and it's just really annoying because I want to kind of get a certain number of regionals into my schedule here. It would be a lot different if we were in the system that you could get your invite for 500 points, 600 points, whatever number of points. But since it's the top 75, I feel like I want to have a number of events to keep myself competitive to be able to get that Worlds invite. And I'm not able to fully plan out my season because they haven't announced them all. There's still 2 TBDs. Actually, I think in the replies to my tweet, I have the picture from the stream.
Oh,
and yeah, there's still 2 TBAs, TBDs, whatever you want to call them. And there's lots of rumors going around and whatever. A lot of people are saying yeah, it's Orlando and Portland, and we're pretty sure. But I don't I want them to just lock it in, because there have been a couple of curveball locations I feel this year already, and I just don't want to assume anything.
Mm-hmm.
The registration structure kind of sucks right now too, where you kind of have to commit to the event several months before because most of them are selling out. That's that doesn't feel very good.
And so I feel like I gotta sign up, and then also we've talked plenty about refunds and stuff not always being available. That's a different topic that we've already complained about plenty. But yeah, I just wish we knew more about the upcoming events, because yeah, me personally, it's just I wouldn't add Toronto if I knew that Portland was going to be there. But if it's not, I do want to get one more regional in there. And so yeah, if you're If you're planning to go though, definitely register on what was it? You said Wednesday, right? Yeah, it's today's Monday.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, tomorrow you still got time. But yeah, otherwise, don't miss it. And if you're in my situation, even if you don't end up deciding by that time, probably better safe than sorry if you can afford to burn the $70 or whatever it's going to end up being if you decide not to go. Um, anyways, we're looking up where the convention center is for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Well, so
Toronto?
I will be.
This one is really cool
I
compared to last year's, because last year's was at the Intercare. This one's right under the CN Tower,
It's
so
literally
Oh,
right
that
next
is
to
be
the
a
kinda
CN
lot
Tower.
more of a fun event.
Oh, that's sick.
Because it's
That is
not in
kinda
like
sick.
the middle of nowhere. It's like right next to everything you want to do in Toronto.
Yeah. Oh,
That
this
is
is really
nice.
cool. I'm planning on going to planning on going to this regional as well. I lived in Toronto for a while. It's a cool place. There's a great brewery right here in Roundhouse Park. It's called what's it called? Steam Whistle Brewery, I believe. I believe that's here if I'm looking at the map correctly. So yeah, no, it's a cool place to be. Definitely excited for Toronto regionals right downtown. I remember when we had these in Brampton. That's awful. So no, this is gonna be really fun. But yeah, it'll be cool to have regionals in Toronto. I'm excited for that. I do agree. I wish they would announce these last couple regionals again. Rumor has it they are going to be Orlando and Portland, but nothing is confirmed yet. And yeah, we really got to plan out our schedule because we got to hit up a certain number of events. But yeah, Toronto. Hopefully, normally Canadian regionals don't end up filling up. They have they usually end up
Those
getting
ones lower attendance, yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. It is the East Coast regional. There are a limited number of regionals, and I think a lot of Europeans, or at least a decent number of Europeans, were planning on coming to this one as well. So we will see how this turns out. But definitely register if you are planning on going to this.
It's a way cheaper flight for a lot of European countries to Toronto.
And a lot of Americans don't have their passports, so it's like
Yeah.
under 50%.
Yep. And so with that, I guess we can jump into the VGC. We got a lot of Pokemon to talk about. And first and foremost, we have all the teams from the Lima special event that happened a couple of weeks ago, October 5th and 6th. They did not post the team sheets anywhere, and so we finally have access to all of the OTSs from at least Top Cut, not so much for the rest of day 2. And it was won by Sebastian Rodriguez, and I think they actually tweeted out their entire pace, so I'm going to pull that up. But this is maybe the most creative team in Top Cut, which says a lot about the Top Cut. Yeah, anyone have any thoughts about this team?
I think that the couple of things that stand out to me that I think are really cool is the Incineroar is assault vested here, and I like that one because we're seeing a real big rise in Sneasler with the Focus Sash, and you could even make the same argument for Flamigo with the Focus Sash. And I really like U-Turn for that reason. And so, if you're committing to running U-Turn to, finish off Sash Pokemon or break Sashes on Pokemon like that, then you're probably better off running an Assault Vest, especially if you can afford to drop the safety goggles. And this team can. It's like very cleverly built in that way. You've got like other things to do against Amoonguss, namely looking at the Clefable with the Misty Terrain.
Dude, Misty
And that
Terrain
was
is
the other
sick.
thing. Yeah, the Misty Terrain is like, I think it was on the team that won Dortmund.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Something that like I think is under I guess like not underrated, I guess is the word about Misty Terrain is not just that it stops like status and stuff, but it stops dragon moves. And we're seeing a lot of Dragon Darts Dragapult right now, and you could obviously redirect that with your Clefable. What if it goes down? It can't just hang around forever. Getting off a Misty Terrain to disrupt, the other terrain guys, that's cool, but, being able to stop damage from the Dragon type attacks, it's really like just neat and probably a bit underexplored.
I do like the AV Instant on that team a lot. I think Incineroar is definitely not an underrated Pokemon, but I think the Assault Vest with like a lot of attack investment is underrated as an attacker. Like it's kind of a different role for Incineroar, and I do think it has pretty good coverage in this format. So I think you can really do a lot. Like, I mean, on that team, it might even be like Brave 252 attack.
The Flamigo carrying dual wing beat just to double tap the Sneasler and like other Flamigo is really nice as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a cool tech. I think I saw a Hippolyte run that at Dortmund as well, and because it not only taps Sneasler, but it also hits other Flamigo, which I think we
Yeah.
saw in finals. There was two Flamigo here, and
Right.
we also it also KOs Vivillon, which was popping up here and there, and so I think it actually has a lot of applications. I was testing it out myself for the regional, and I think the problem is, man, this move is so weak. It just does no damage. And like dropping Brightbird is kind of hard to do. But yeah, no, it does have some cool applications. And when you play the Flamigo Balancy Ursaluna Mirror, but you have a Misty Terrain Clefairy to turn off their Ursaluna, and you have the dual wing beat Flamigo to KO their Flamigo. Yeah, that seems pretty good. That seems pretty strong. And we actually see the second place team also had dual wing beat on their Flamigo too.
Good shout. I forgot that Misty Terrain also counters Guts Bear.
It's like a pretty big damage drop, yeah.
Something that I was looking at personally was like on the topic of dual wing beat Flamigo. There was no dual wing beat Flamigos earned points at Baltimore, and then there was quite a decent amount, not like I think a majority or anything, but a decent amount of dual wing beat Flamigos were doing well in Dortmund, and it's just kind of cool how like the meta like responds quickly, and like also there's like a decent amount of like a hive mind sometimes with VGC. Like one person starts a tech, and then somebody sees it on ladder, and everybody just rips it, steals it because you know I don't know. It's just kind of funny the way that
Everything
it like.
moves so fast these days too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because of like open team sheet ladder and open team sheet tournaments. People are very able to figure out exactly what they need to be doing, and then you see something uh, on the ladder, and then you take it. Especially if you see like a team doing well. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't take that. Throwing throwing a little bit of shade towards something that I saw on Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
if you see a good team doing well on the high ladder and you get the open team sheet, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I just like yoink?
That's why I got my team for Louisville.
Yep. And
Yoinked it off high
are you
ladder.
able to? I don't know if you ended up tweeting it or not. Are you able to shout out the person or no? Did they end up talking to you, or do you not know who it is still?
I have a guess, but I would imagine that they would not want me to reveal. So
That's fair. I mean, if they're going to any of the upcoming tournaments, we do have a couple of more majors coming up. I was talking to ESM about like Sacramento regionals, and it's like, damn, we have so many majors until that. I think there's two regionals or special event level tournaments in Europe. We have LAIC, and I think another regional in Latin America, if I'm not mistaken. So still so many events coming up right now.
yeah, we've got Lille and Dansk.
Yep.
Dansk is 2 weeks from this weekend. And then oh yeah, there's one in Buenos Aires the weekend after that. But
Right.
that's a special, yeah. No, it's not a regional.
They really
Still
pack
like
them in.
regional level, but
Yeah.
Yeah. No
They
money
really
for
pack
them.
them in the low half of the year this year, huh?
Well, it looks
I
like
mean,
they're doing one a month per region. They've pretty
Right.
consistently stuck to that. But for NA at least, it is like, I don't know. It's sometimes they are more further apart, right? The Baltimore to Kentucky was almost exactly a month. This one now we have a whole like almost 6 weeks, 7 weeks without a regional. It feels like so. This one's gonna feel
Right.
like a very long break. And then again we got it, but or I guess 3 weeks is not unreasonable. But for Europe, I know I saw MDB talk about this on his YouTube channel, Michael Derbesi. Going from Lille regionals to Gdansk regional, if you're going to both of those, it's a 2-week turnaround, which is not a lot of time if you're trying to cook something new, if you're trying to adapt to a metagame.
No, not
And
at
then going to LAIC, which is I don't have the date for that, but that is also I think another 2-week turnaround, right? That is a challenging slate
right.
for anyone to try to keep on the grind for essentially 6 straight weeks or so. I know I tried that last year when we had a more compact regional schedule, and it burnt me out real bad. It's really hard to do, and so yeah, no, it's challenging when the regionals are so compact. But then on the other hand, it feels bad that we have to wait this long between events in North America.
I think on top of that, I think Sacramento is the week after LAIC. I think they are only a week apart.
Yeah, it's back to back.
So anybody trying to do both of those will have a pretty tough time.
Mhm.
I agree with Nils' take here in the chat that 2 weeks is enough time to adapt to meta shifts. 1 week is not. That sounds right. I think that
Yeah.
2 weeks is like, you have 1 week to react and 1 week to polish kind of thing, where if you only have 1 week, you I think you're more better off like repairing whatever, or like, making edits to something that you've kind of committed to, and just praying that it, doesn't have to be greatly reworked to deal with what, is going to be popular based on the previous term. We'll eventually, get to talking about Louisville and stuff, because yeah, I think that that's going to be definitely pretty annoying for the people going to Lille this weekend. Is anything that came out of this tournament that is going to throw a wrench into people's prep or game plans. I feel like honestly,
My bad.
the most I was gonna say the most annoying team probably is not, maybe not the winning team or anything. It probably is Carson. I feel like Carson's probably the one that's gonna make the most people upset.
We have to
Yeah.
respect Dozo now. Like,
I think if I had not done well, you could 100% get away at Lille without having a Dozo matchup at all. And honestly, you probably still can. It's EU, they like balance. But
Mm-hmm.
there might be some Spanish players that show up with Dozo. I know they like Dozo in Spain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess we can let's move back to Lima real quick. I think that a lot of these teams do look pretty standard. Not a ton of stuff that's too new, which is kind of weird for Latam, because normally Latam
yeah.
you see some wild stuff, but at least in the top 8, I guess the other somewhat interesting team, we see a Charizard out here on a more traditional side spam looking team. But yeah, I don't know. Is there any of these teams that you guys want to talk about?
I think the Charizard one got a shout out from Jin, who was using basically this, if not exactly this, I don't know, at Louisville. So, we're still seeing some influence from Lima here on, there we go, Luke Bauer's team. So it looks like, some minor, edits and stuff from there, but like generally the same principle, size spam, trick room with the Charizard on the choice scarf. So pretty cool. But yeah, otherwise I do agree. Looking at the rest of the teams, it's just kind of like we've seen these before.
And notably, also Zach Minch, top cut Louisville, got top 16 at Louisville with the exact team that won Lima special event. And so we do see some American players finding a lot of success, looking at these teams and taking these teams, and at least taking inspiration from these teams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
And
there is one other really interesting thing in there. It's not top 8, but it's top 16.
All right.
There's a Meowscarada in there.
All
It's
right.
a
Meow.
Meowscarada. It's a Meowscarada with triple axle, which I know Carson faced.
I
at
did face
Louisville.
that, and I realized in my round 1 while facing that, and I was just facing a Sash one. It O-code 5 of the 6 Pokemon on my team, and I had a really hard time. I barely got out of that with my life. I lost game 1. Like, it was rough.
Mm-hmm. What was the what's the one that doesn't Oko?
Annihilate.
Annihilate. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Annihilate bug codes itself. So.
True.
All right. I before we move on from Lima, I think there's one more thing that should be mentioned.
What's up?
It's there's a couple of Gyarados here. I feel like it's a bit of a a single team building group coming together, because it's all featured on the same 6 Pokemon.
Right.
But Gyarados, do you guys think that guy can hold up in this meta? Let's look at what it's doing. Waterfall, Icy Wind, Taunt, Protect with goggles. Is this a Pokemon you want on your team or no?
No.
I think it's too low impact,
Nah.
honestly. Like, I tried to build around it, and it's just such a do-nothing mon. Like, it's not redirecting. It's not commanding much presence. Like, the safety goggles taunt isn't doing much if there's no, like, Amoonguss on the field. Waterfall
Mhm.
isn't, like, a super high base power move. So it's not even like a Magmar can throw off overheats. Like, it has good typing for this format for sure, since there's really no good electric types besides Arch. But I really don't think it holds up well. I think that's just one group of good players in a lower power level region, and they can kind of just use what they want and still do well. Because I mean, like Dorian Quinones is a very
He's a really
strong
good
player,
player.
so
Mhm.
like especially with a 100-player regional, he can probably bring whatever and place pretty well.
Right.
Yeah, I agree that the defining trait for me is actually just simply waterfall. I like you can't be clicking an 80 base power move on a Pokemon like this. Like I don't know, it just doesn't actually ever do anything. You get intimidated by Incineroar and you waterfall it for super effective and do 35, and you're just like, what am I doing with my life? What is my water
Yeah.
type role but to just exist? Um, yeah, I think that I would much rather have a number of other water Pokemon, probably even Empoleon. ESM was always giving me a hard time for saying Empoleon is not a usable water type. But I think the person who brought Empoleon to Baltimore also showed up to Louisville with it and got day 2 again. So
The top cut.
maybe
Yeah,
Empoleon's the better
he did
water
pretty
type.
good.
You could do goofy stuff with Empoleon.
Yeah.
I guess this isn't even to mention Blastoise, which we'll get there.
Dude, people do anything for a water type right now. Okay.
For real.
It's true.
Just use Dondozo, man. It's not that hard.
You get 2 of them for the price of, well, 2.
You don't have to run a Tatsugiri. The Jan Fisher says
you
good
know what?
too.
True. Yeah, that also
I like
got
that.
top 8. So before we move on to Louisville, I do want to talk about one more thing because this is going to be the stream where we complain about the circus, this tournament structure. We're going to be doing a lot of that, but especially I want to talk about it in the context of the special events, because these players, they played 6 rounds in day 1, and then they came back to play 2 rounds of day 2 Swiss, and then they had top cut. Which to me feels awful. I hate that because I don't. You go what? You go 5-2, 4-2 to make it day 2. First off, that's not very much Pokemon. We got done at 5:30 ish at Louisville playing 8 rounds, so they might have got done by like 3
with delays as well. Like
right. So they got done
with delays.
They got done real early because they had fewer players too, so the rounds will go faster inevitably. They might have been done by 2, and then you go 4-2, and you can't even like fully enjoy your night because you made day 2 going 4-2, only to play 2 rounds the next day, which means you're done by like 11 a.m. And then I don't know, just like it just feels like just play the 8 rounds day 1. We know that you can complete that in a reasonable time frame. We consistently complete it in a very reasonable time frame, and then let all of these players like get on with their lives, like have a good night, enjoy a brand new city that, I mean, a lot of these players are Peruvian players. They've probably been to Lima before, but like, I don't know, like if I'm Johnny Gonzalez, I don't know who that is, but American player, like I probably don't want to be coming back to the convention center to play 2 rounds. Or like a lot of the players from other countries in South America as well, I'm sure would love to have had their night. And then especially, it sucks that some people made day 2 and didn't even get championship points. I mean, it's just like it just feels very silly. I would have liked to have seen the 8 rounds of day 1, and then yes, it kind of sucks that the top cut is predetermined, and you have time to prepare for it. But like, I really don't like inviting people back at 4-2. It just feels like a very silly structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like such a waste to come back and then get 0 CP.
Right.
I'd be so mad.
Yeah. And the same senior issue the same senior issue that happened, the last event happened at Louisville. Can you expand on that? I'm not exactly sure what the context is there. So okay. So with that is the recap of the Lima special event. I don't know. Nerd of Now says day 2 no CP broke my program for scraping data. That's funny too. All right, let's talk about the Louisville Regional Championships that just happened. Won by Andrew Zhang. Congratulations to him, coming off of a 2nd place at Indianapolis Regionals last year. Gets his regional championship. And I did not get to watch any of his sets really, but everyone in Tub was saying that he played super well. Alex, you were at home. I know exactly where Tommy was. He was with me. Alex, you were at home. Tell me about Andrew and how you felt about his team.
Well, so the team obviously is putting me to bed. Not, no pun intended, because obviously it's got a Dire Claw and Amoongus. But yeah, this is just ultimately the team that got second at Dortmund from Matty Moo, and Andrew explained just that. Like I took it, I liked it as it was, and didn't need to make many changes. But watching it in action, Andrew just played super, super well with the tools that he had. I feel like a lot of the games were involving the top two and the bottom two here in this pace. So like P2 Goldie, Instant Amoongus, just a classic like kind of defensive core that we've seen on a couple of different teams. Some people opt to go the Ursaluna route with this team, and Andrew might have been able to do that, but I'm sure that Sneasler and Garchomp played a big part in certain other games. The set against Wolf was really, really a nail biter. There was a lot of like very tense, good stream sets to watch. So if you didn't get the chance to watch it, I do recommend going back and checking it out. It's obviously a little less exciting when knowing the results, but just seeing the level of play was really nice.
Yeah, we were talking about how EU might have to adjust to the results, but of course, the winning team is actually the team that that Matty used to get second place at Dortmund, right? So they might have already seen this team. They are probably ready for it. And also, this was a common team at this event. There were a lot of people who were using. I'm going to try to pull up exactly how many people. There were a lot of people using this exact team, and they made day two with it. I think. By Dragon, Sneasler, right? Yeah. So there were 4 people in day 2. We see Chris Hahn, we see Ink, Siddharth, and we see Joshua Denk all went 8-3 with the team as well. So yeah, this team was everywhere at the regional, and Andrew was the one who took it the furthest and actually won the entire event.
Yeah, and other than that, I mean, like, I don't know if there's actually that much to say about it. Like, there we're a couple of months into this format already, and we're seeing um, innovations definitely slowing down. I would say Joe's team is, just the next version of what he's already been running, and it's not being used by anybody else. But after a finish like that, I wouldn't be surprised to see more people trying it out. And so that's like something people are going to have to watch out for a bit more. And I gotta say, this team is always super, super fun. The biggest issue I always have with this one is that it's just like really hard to practice with, because
the showdown
uh,
bug.
the showdown bug. For people that don't know, eject pack with drought and intimidate is not coded correctly on Pokemon Showdown. We actually got to see it happen on stream, but if you lead Incineroar against Joe, the sun will get activated and set up, and then Torkoal will be ejected out of there. And you've got 5 turns of sun and 2 Pokemon on the field that are ready to abuse it, whether it's like Jumpluff and Typhlosion, or you got Typhlosion next to something else. Yeah, here's Joe in the chat. I played 0 showdown games with this and had no locals, so just had to theory. Like, it's just brutal. Because you cannot accurately play it. You can't accurately play it on Pokemon Showdown. And there's like a good amount of Intimidate. Of course, if you don't play against Intimidate, then like, yeah, no, the team functions just as is. But there's a lot of Incineroar. So and if you have Incineroar, it's probably a decent bring against this team. Obviously, there's King Gambit, but still a Pokemon that might come into play and definitely ruin how the team is supposed to play. So yeah, and like then you can obviously play it in game, but that's closed team sheet, which is just completely different. So other than that, though, I think it's a really, really cool team that is super scary. It feels like it's just attacking you in so many different directions, and all 4 of the offensive Pokemon here, even Torkoal is no slouch. So I don't know. I think it's a really, really cool team that's obviously also building on Joe's strengths, because this is something very close to what he used to win Portland 23, right? Or
Yep,
right? I believe so. I think did it have Jumpluff? It did have Jumpluff, right?
Yeah,
it was like almost the same exact team. I was thinking it was
I mean, yeah,
one
pretty
mon
much.
difference, like, or 2 maybe.
Great Tusk. Where's Great Tusk?
Yeah, it was Tusk instead of Chomp, and I don't remember what was the Typhlosion slot. Yeah, I can't remember offhand. I want to laugh at you a second, Alex, because you just said that innovation was slowing down, and like I'm staring at an Exeggutor on the Top Cut Explorer, bro. Like,
A little bit. I mean, that's fair.
Here, I got it pulled up. It was a Chen Pao slot.
Chimpo.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, do we want to talk about Riley's team? I guess we should talk about Riley's team real quick first before we go to the Executor.
And there was also a Flutter, so it really only has half the Pokemon of
Right.
Joe's previous Portland winning team. But
Mhm.
like Garchomp for Tusk, that's a pretty easy 1-for-1. Typhlosion for Flutter, kinda. D-Knight for Pow. They're like good friends, but they don't do the same thing. So, anyways, I think they both have Spinner. All right, yeah. Let's talk about this Eggy one. Definitely.
Oh, okay. Yeah, screw Riley's team. That team is boring.
Oh, you said Riley? Sorry, I thought you were talking about Eggy.
I don't have much to say about Riley's team. I mean, it's just like
We'll come back. Let's talk about the Egg one because we're talking about the Egg one.
All right. So Parker Simmons went 11-1. It looks like for losing in 11-2. So 11-1, I guess. I don't know how exactly this is recording scores, but they did really well. They did really well with Hard Trick Room, except instead of a Gardevoir or a Hatterene or an Armorogue, they're using Executor.
Executor.
So it's really cool. You know, I said in my Sneasler video that I thought Hard Trick Room was going to do really well because everyone is using Sneasler and it's really good into Sneasler. But Eggy was not the psychic type I thought would be good into Sneasler.
Yep.
The Zoroark is so hard to play against too. Like, I think I might have played him on ladder before the event actually, and I feel like every time you're watching the lead, you just kind of have to guess. Like the Zoroark, you can't fake it out. Like if you throw a fake out into that slot, you just whiff. Not like regular Zoroark. It creates so many mind games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I was gonna say this is probably not a team I'm going to be trying to fake out much anyways, as it is like a team that features psychic terrain. But you know, if you do get your terrain control, then yeah, even still, it's not reliable. Yeah. I think one big critique I have was that it was really funny watching Parker on stream. Led Zoroark and tried to shadow ball the Golden Gome, is like hamming it up with the crowd, and then like this was against Andrew Zhang, and Andrew Zhang just protected the Golden Go. It was hilarious to see, and also like I felt like it kind of defeated the purpose. Like you can't look at the crowd and be like, "Huh, guys, watch this," because like then it's like, okay, yeah, I know you're trying to do something here. You're trying to like pull one over on me. I'm not gonna like I don't know. I don't know if Andrew actually like read the body language and was like, "This is a Zoroark, I'm not going to fall for that," or if it was just a safe turn to protect overall. You could definitely super hyper analyze the turn and be like, you know, it was probably just best for him to protect anyways. But like, it was just really amusing because, yeah, I felt like that was just kind of a giveaway.
Wait.
Also, one other thing I got to add about Parker is that Parker Simmons, it was like so close to being the next like last name is a first name plural person to do well, because we've seen like Tim Edwards, Patrick Connors, and a couple of other ones do well at this one. My pick for this tournament was Dylan Matthews. Dylan Matthews was a name that I did not recognize, but saw them make day 2 at 7-1, and I was like, this person's winning the whole tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Problem with Parker Simmons is that I don't think Simon is the name.
Yeah, that's
tough. Is anybody named? It's like there's Simon. It's close, but no, Simon is not. Yeah.
I played Dylan Matthews the last round of Swiss day 1.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't believe it was his first tournament, but I hadn't heard of him before. But he was really good. I mean, I had a very good matchup into him, and he definitely gave me a run for my money.
I feel like I've seen.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to say that these people are like good or bad players. It's just like, I don't recognize the name, and we just kind of seeing these like names you don't recognize that are their last name is a first name plural. Of course, we've got a couple of instances of that doing well for people in the past. Like Gavin Michaels and James Evans. Those are some more well known examples, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just always a funny pattern. Of course, these patterns don't actually mean anything.
We got Griffin Simon over here. Another one of those. Dakota Kelly, another one. Lots of them in day 2. Max MC22, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. They say Gastrodon is better than Primarina, and oh man, you want to talk about underachievers. Primarina is up there. It did not do super well in day 2 of this tournament. But first,
Marina.
what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I had a complaint. So the Zoroark was the stream side. That's right. You could see the Zoroark on stream. Is that what happened, or was it on the opponent?
Oh no! So Parker was stream side. It still
I hate that.
displays.
I-
No.
That's not what it was. What Alex was saying was Parker must have clicked Shadow Ball and started making faces or something.
I get that.
He did. That's what happened.
I get that, but also, to anyone who's managing the play Pokemon streams, if there's ever a Zoroark on stream, please put the Zoroark on not the player side. I don't. I was complaining about this to someone that I think it was actually when we were at lunch right after the event.
I think so. Yeah.
Because the commentators were talking about the play knowing what the player was going to click, and I think it's more interesting when commentators don't know what the players are going to click and they have to actually analyze the situation from both sides. But that's sort of inevitable without spectator mode. Whether or not when
you just need spectator mode, yeah.
But when your opponent has a Zoroark, it is so much more dramatic if you don't know if it's a Zoroark or not. That's they really should make a point to not put the Zoroark as player 1. It really is a lot better.
Yep.
The crowd.
I think it's a big disadvantage for the Zoroark player too, because I think the crowd can definitely give it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If they have a loud enough reaction, it would have to be, a really high stakes game. But if you manage to get to top 4 of an international, everyone's going to be watching that, and you lead Zoroark, the crowd is going to react. They're going to be like, whoa, you're going to hear something like that, and they do well with those noise canceling headphones. But I feel like you could probably still hear a pretty big crowd roar. And
when the crowd roar, you definitely hear it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I guess you were on stream most recently, and I feel like they can't completely cancel that out.
Well, you make it to top 4 in an internets, you fake out a ghost type, you're gonna get the crowd going.
Yeah.
True.
All right. That was my complaint about that specifically, because this is not the first time this has happened. I think it happened at one of the other regionals too. And I was like, man, it's so much more fun when the Zoroark is not on the stream side.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really cool team though. Just a very different take on Sly Spam. Not very different, but the Executor is definitely a very cool take on Sly Spam, and I am curious as to why they chose to run Eggy over anything else. But
well, dude, it works with both the Indeedee and the Torkoal. You get to rock both Chlorophyll and Sly Spam.
But then you set up Trick Room and you're fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the part that always bothered me, but obviously it worked out. Parker went 11-2, so I think if you really know what you're doing with it, then you obviously aren't going to step on your own toes that way. I just definitely think it will make it tricky to steal and play. I think a lot of people that are going to look at this team and think this is cool, I'm going to try this. You have to things are going to be very delicate, aside from the Zoroark too, of course, that you have to figure out when it's the right time to bluff something. Is your opponent falling for it or not? Doesn't matter. Those are the kind of the cool things about Zoroark. But the Eggy, I feel like, is such a difficult Pokemon to play when the team is so focused on Trick Room, but it can end up being so fast.
These teams with goofy niche mons, they always after they do well at a regional like this, they always are swarming low ladder. Because a lot of players pick them up and want to try them, and a lot of players can't figure out what that one weird mon does.
So we got Parker's brother in the chat saying that he wanted to make Lilligant and Armorog one Pokemon, excuse me. And so this is some roll compression there. So that's kind of cool. Outspeeding and OHKOing Dragapult, that I guess that makes sense. But I feel like Dragapult is normally paired with Rillaboom, so it might be a little harder. But sure, yeah, I could see that too. Cool. And we love Sleep Powder.
Wait,
Joe, thank you, Joe.
Multiple brothers? Wait, there's how many brothers of?
Well, he says
Parker
both brothers, and that's Ditto VGC telling us both brothers, so that's a little suspicious right there.
I know,
Yeah, Ditto.
right?
I'm very I'm confused. I'm very confused. Next Tub Takes episode is just all of the Simmons
All of the
children,
Simmons squad.
just the whole fam. Three like the heads of an executive. Okay. So let's jump back though up to Riley's team. Also finished in top 4. And yeah, it's funny. Like even the commentators realize it at this point that Riley's whole thing is never running inaccurate moves. And sure
Smart
enough,
man.
that's still what we're seeing here. Haha, Hurricane isn't 100% accurate, but it really is. And so, yeah. Other than that, though, this is a rain team that is doing things slightly differently than the other ones. I feel like the core of Pelipper, Arch, Bass, and then Amoongus is still present here. We've seen King Gambit plenty before. I think Sneasler is a bit underused on Rain, but it's just kind of top dog right now.
It's
and
good
we
on
can't spend
Rain.
another 30 minutes talking about just Sneasler.
Right.
But I think
But
it seems like a fine addition to a Pokemon or to a team like this. So not
Dude,
questioning
peep
it
the
too
Terra
heavily.
type on the Pelipper.
Yeah, so it's electric. It's also covert cloak. That's another thing. Is since Sneasler wanted the focus sash, I guess Pelipper needed to do something else. I will say, as a big fan of Poison Touch, I felt myself a little bit swayed to Unburden this weekend after seeing how it plays in certain situations. It's very helpful to know that your Sneasler is the faster Sneasler. If you get knocked to Sash first, then it can be very good to like finish off their guy. Of course, your opponent could play around it. I think one of the primary reasons to run Unburden on a team like this is because you don't want to accidentally poison something that you're wishing you got off a spore on with a Mungus. So making sure that you don't step on your own toes there, but still, Unburdened Sash does have some cool situations where just being that ultra super duper fast Pokemon can lock things up.
Mm-hmm. Even I think one example of that is against Carson's team, where he's using Indeedee and his own Sneasler with Unburden, and so it's so easy to Expanding Force. It's such good damage into Sneasler, and then all of a sudden now your Sneasler is getting outsped by their Sneasler, and that's that's kind of a pain in the butt to navigate around sometimes.
He didn't ever bring Sneasler versus me. He did just the same for every game. But one thing I thought was interesting was that Pelipper was like 0 bulk. Like it was still the same sash spread, just without sash.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was max speed, max special attack. Because I was doing like 95% with Expanding Force to his Pelipper.
That's interesting.
I feel like, I guess it's just playing it a bit recklessly. I think in some matchups, just one rain is all you need, And so just kind of like letting Pelipper go down quickly, not feeling too attached to it so that you can use those rain turns with a bunch of your other Pokemon. It's kind of like a Talonflame or a Whimsicott where once it gets up that Tailwind, maybe Pelipper's getting up Tailwind, mostly just the rain. The job's done. Just let the real, Pokemon take care of it from here, I guess.
Yeah, I also
Yeah.
totally lied. I just remember that he did bring Sneasler to me every match, but the Unburden never came up. The Unburden never
I
came
like
up.
that you didn't forget that it came to one of the games. It was actually every single one.
I thought he brought the Arch, but I'm remembering now that it was the Sneasler that he brought.
Maybe mixing it up with a different rain team you played against.
I played like 6, I think.
Yeah.
There's so many that I played.
Any other comments about Riley's team though? Anything else that's like stand out or noteworthy, or should we move on to Mars's team?
Ghost of Moongus is cool too. Just really didn't want to get faked out. Really want to get that spore off.
Yeah.
Good into mouse too. I don't actually know what's best. What's the best mouse finish? Looking.
Let's find out.
Top 64 from Chef.
Rough.
Not
Oh,
a great
man.
finish for that Pokemon, but
Yeah.
helps into it. Terra Ghost. It's one of the first things I thought of, but like, yeah, you don't really need to beat mouse if they're struggling to break top 32.
Can't kill you.
Yeah. He's also Citrus Berry, so like you already live the population bomb, so like
Yeah.
yeah, it's not too bad. I guess the Covert Cloak was taken by the Pelipper, so he had to go Terra Ghost. He didn't have a choice.
True.
All right. Let's talk about the maybe one of the cooler teams in the tournament. The team I was most excited to see personally was Mars' team, Marco, who used a Cerulege to get all the way to top 8 of the tournament. With paired with the Sneasler, the Scale Shot Dragonite. This was the Scale Shot Dragonite's highest finish, I believe. This was hyped up a lot by Japan. We talked about that in the preview for the tournament, and a Gastrodon. The first time I think Gastrodon's done really well at a regional this season as well, and in a little bit. Thoughts?
I thought his team was really cool. I really did not want to play him because I think he had a strong matchup into me, but I like the serial edge. I think it's cool. I also like that he didn't run Poltergeist. I'm kind of a massive Poltergeist hater.
I hate that move.
I
It's the
think
most stressful move in VGC.
it's like not accurate, and then if you accidentally proc their item or they have a way to proc their own item, it not working. Like, I think it's just too many conditions. I like Shadow Sneak being more consistent, and you really get rewarded when you get your bulk ups off, just killing stuff before it even moves.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that choice.
I think Poltergeist is very strong. Nell said it. 110 base power ghost move is really strong. I ran that in the Grand Challenge with my Cerulege. The downside is, like you said, if they see that you have Poltergeist as your only attacking move, as your main attacking move, that's exploitable in open team sheet. Is the main thing. In closed team sheet, if they have to guess between Shadow Sneak and Poltergeist, I think it's a lot more reasonable to run. Also, one of the things about this team that is notable is it has no speed control whatsoever, and is instead entirely reliant on priority moves like E-Speed Dragonite. I guess Dragonite can get faster too, but things like E-Speed Dragonite, Sucker Punch, King Gambit, Rillaboom, and then Cerulege. And so opting out of what is quickly turning into a lot of these teams have speed control. Speed control is turning into something that's very important in this format, especially again with Sneasler everywhere. It's so important to be able to outspeed it and not get Dire Clawed out of the games. And so instead opting out of that entirely and just saying, well, I'm just going to, if you are going to try to go fast, if you're going to dedicate a turn towards clicking Tailwind or Trick Room, I'm just going to use my priority moves to beat you instead, which is a cool approach that we haven't seen a ton of. And I think Cerulege is a really good abuser of that with Bulk Up and Shadow Sneak.
I mean, Unburden's still speed control, right? Is it? You were talking about Scale Shot. By the way, Scale Shot's your choice of move that can miss in very crucial situations. So that's why we don't have Poltergeist. We got Scale Shot.
I think Scale Shot's a lot higher reward though. Like when that Dragonite gets going, it's pretty hard to stop. And killing stuff like Sneasler, just super strong. Not letting it get off the second move.
Yeah, I like that set a lot.
Does a lot, like, way more damage than it deserves to.
On the topic of it, though, Adi, you mentioned it, and so you were talking about speed control, and I went looking, and I'm just scanning over here, and there's a lot of Tailwind. Like, honestly, the funniest Tailwind setters you can think of, like Jumpluff getting second, Wolf's, we haven't yet talked about it, but the Yon Mega, and Pelipper is a Tailwind setter for sure. But like, I'm looking for like Prankster dedicated Tailwind. We talked about how it was kind of like falling off, and I'm scrolling. Can you guys tell me what is the best Prankster? Like, I guess it would be Murkrow, Talonflame, or Whimsicott. Like, where do those guys show up? Where's the first appearance?
The funniest part is that there's a Talonflame in top 32, but it's on a Weezing team. So the Gale Wings can be turned off.
No. I played that. I played that team, or I played a similar team in I guess I didn't play the exact same team, but I played a similar team in the cup afterwards. And one cool thing you could do is you can turn it off in Psychic Terrain, so you can hit Gale, you can use Gale Wings, or you can use your Talonflame even when your opponent sets up Psychic Terrain against you, which I found out. So it does have some cool applications.
Fun.
Talonflame's
is that actually the only one? I'm still looking. I think it's the only one.
Yeah.
In top 32.
There's one. Yeah, there's one in 39th. Another Talonflame. That's the only other one I see.
And Chef also got top 64. He got 35th, 36th, or something like that with Whimsicott. But yeah, no, dedicated Tailwind setters did. I mean, we were talking about this after Baltimore. It's been a while. This is old news, but yeah, they've really fallen off. They won the Dortmund regionals, but other than that, yeah, it just hasn't really been that common.
I mean, like it's old news, but also like it's becoming more and more drastic. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. Like it really might be the time to just pack it up. Of course, you could also be the person that breaks open the archetype and does it in a way that people are clearly overlooking or something, and say like this is good, this is strong, this is worth it. But as is right now, it seems like you don't get that much out of getting Tailwind off on the first turn. I guess that kind of goes with the lower power level format.
Right.
Um, but yeah, really cool.
I mean,
I don't know.
the way I see it is, if you look at these teams, right, they all have countermeasures to Tailwind, right? If you get a Tailwind off, priority Tailwind off against the Porygon 2 Instant Amoonguss team, that's not very valuable. It is really good against Joe's team. It actually is really nice to get a priority Tailwind off against Joe's team, outspeed the jump up potentially. But then again, like, Amoonguss is so good at slowing these games down, and if you don't like throw an Oka move into the Pelipper, it's just matching Tailwind with you, and you're not like really getting benefits out of it. Then there's a hard Trick Room team, and the team with 4 priority moves, and a team that has a solo Dozo that can slow you down, right? Like, there isn't, and a team with, I think, did Carrie have double redirection? No, they didn't.
No,
they
he
had,
was Quiver.
They had Quiver.
But I mean, Rillaboom's so good at slowing down games as well. Like,
I actually
just pivot so easily, fake out. Like, I mean, it's not good into a lot of the Tailwind setters themselves, like Talonflame or Brave-Bird Murkrow, which I know Kevin Swastik had. But I mean, just being able to switch in and out, like, I feel like a lot of the like Whimsicott teams we've seen, especially like Chef's team, have like an Indeedee or like some type of terrain that you're resetting with Rillaboom, and it's just hard to keep pace when like they're cycling Instant Rilla or Instant Amoonguss. Like, even if they aren't pressing Trick Room.
Yeah. I definitely think that the utility Tailwind setters like Pelipper, like Volcarona, like Yanmega, Yanmega, I don't know how to pronounce that word. Like we saw, I know Alberto didn't have Tailwind on Corviknight, but I know Wolf did on his Baltimore team. There was one more that was that I saw somewhere and I've already forgotten what it was. But yeah,
I like Kilowattrel still.
yes, the
Kilowattrel's pretty cool.
Kilowattrel.
Dude, I like that guy too.
And then even like utility Trick Room setters, like we saw Exeggutor as sort of like a faster Trick Room setter potentially. We saw Mimikyu get top cut with Nora. So we see more and more options, and like, so many options. We see the Throat Spade for Rigraff that we talked about from the Lima special event as well. Lots of, and then I think Porygon 2 honestly also has a lot of utility as well. And then maybe we won't get to it. I think Matt Tidd had just a random Hatterene on a non-Sci Spam team as well. So like lots of like random Trick Room setters. I know, Carson, you had a male Indeedee.
That's the Rafael Bagara special.
True.
The random Hatterene.
Yep.
I know he's in the chat right now.
So it is.
You just don't even think it's an option. You don't even think it's an option. Go ahead, Audie.
I'm just saying it's really interesting to see how speed control has evolved in this format.
Definitely. Bringing it back though, I guess that's mainly all the comments we had about Mars's team. It's definitely a really cool one though. We actually didn't talk a lot about the Gastrodon, but Gastrodon can be pretty annoying for like the Rain teams and stuff. Actually, I think we saw that it didn't end up beating Rain on stream, so maybe Gastrodon's a fraud. Obviously, Primarina also not a great showing at this tournament. So, if you want to call Primarina a fraud, I'm not going to fight you too hard. But Gastrodon losing to Rain is a bad look. That's a bad look.
Lost to Rain twice. He lost. Marco lost to Riley. That was his only loss of Swiss, and then also lost to only lost to Swiss. Maybe did he lose to? I don't know. But he lost in round 9 of the 8-0 game, and then also lost again in Top Cut. So yeah, Gastro maybe not it.
No way, dude. No way you get double down by Rain.
But
holy.
But it would have been really good into the one Dondozo. So
well,
would have been good to me.
You know what the rule is with Gastron.
Well, no, we all.
Do we ever kick Roshan out of Tom Freeze and Gastrodon? No, we still got to do that, huh?
We still got to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Also, it took me until like this weekend to realize that Mars's username is because his name starts with Mar twice. Like, so I was just like, oh, it's multiple Mars. That's actually so good.
I just now got it because he said that.
Yeah, Same.
right? It's like a really sick username if that's your real name. So bars. Anyways, Colin's team. Let's talk about Colin's team. Real quick. I don't know like how much there is to say about it. Like, love you, Colin. The team just kind of bores me. I know that solo Dozo is cool, but we saw it last week, or not last week, but we saw it in Dortmund.
This is a retrain of Jones' team. It looks like. Very
old,
similar.
old news. It
It
doesn't have a
reminded
king.
me of Sisiot's team from the Victory Road September challenge that he won with. I think he was the first
Mhm.
one really using the solo dozo in this format. And I mean, it's only
That sounds
one
right.
different. Colin changed the clef to an Electabuzz, but I mean, it's basically the same team besides that.
Yeah, I guess like the most notable thing is that I think Volcarona was sometimes getting cut on these teams. We saw there's some running Magmar instead of Electabuzz and stuff, and so that already kind of covers the fire type. Dozo's replacing the Primarina, but King Gambit is the big missing piece on this team that you usually see with these. So yeah, I don't know. Other than that, though, it just still is like there's 8 or so Pokemon that you want on this archetype, and you get 6 Pokemon. So you can't have it all. And we've seen the most common configurations. This one's just a bit different.
Kind of did not realize there was no King Gambit here.
Right? You just
Until
kind
you
of like
pointed it out.
the blank space from King Gambit fills in your head. Like you think he's there.
Yeah.
Like you just assume he's there.
I
somewhere.
played him at this regional, and I didn't realize there was no King Gambit until just now.
Right?
Did he hit a fissure against you?
He did not. He didn't click it.
Tough.
Rip.
Tough. Didn't find the spot. I do know Colin had to go for 8 fissures in one of his games and hit the 8th one. I think that was against Pengy.
Yeah,
awesome.
he went 1 for 9 on the weekend on fishers.
God,
And
man.
8 of those were in a single game against Pengy.
Jeez.
Insane.
Definitely look forward to Colin talking about it on his YouTube channel. But other than that, anything else we want to say about this team?
Yeah, I really want to quickly use this as a segue into me talking shit about Primarina. Because this is the team that you normally see a Primarina on. This is like the one team that you always see Primarina on. And it's nowhere. Primarina had an awful showing in this tournament. Lot of usage, right? And then you look at who actually did well with it. There was one in top cut. Just one. It was Mancuso.
And he didn't even make money.
Yeah, he lost.
He got out in the first round of cuts. So there was 0 Primarina that made money, and it was 32% usage, something like that. Like that's insane.
It was
That's got to be like a world record.
Biggest
fail
fraud
conversion
showing
rate.
ever.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you are coming to the tournament, loading up your Primarina team, and you get told like as you sit down and locked in your team, like not a single Primarina is getting money. Like I would just be like, shut up, you're just wrong. Like so one of them is getting money. Like
Hey,
at least
as a Dozo
somebody.
player, I am preying on Primarina's downfall. I'm so
Well,
happy.
guess
to
what?
see the
You're
fall.
only trying to get more people to use Primarina now.
I know, and it's gonna do well at a tournament now because they're gonna hit 3 people using the team I brought, and they're just gonna get 3 wins off of it.
Yeah, I did see Luca's
I gotta pull it up.
tweet about like one Primin cut and finest fit for Primarina's funeral. So good.
Well, I think
It
there
was
was
a very
like
good
what
tweet.
4 Dozos in this whole tournament or something like that, like Dozo Tatsu, and like maybe 2 Premier. There was how many Primarina, and I think 2 of them ran not Haze. They ran Combine instead. So all those other Primarinas just kind of wasting a slot.
Yeah, like there were 4 Dozo Tatsus in day 2, and I think me and Kevin Swastik were the only ones in top 64. Like
Right.
it didn't have a super strong showing. There wasn't a lot of representation in the first place of like Tatsu with Dozo. So
I'm looking at Dozo,
Haze
and
just
this
isn't
is
helping.
maybe one of the first times you'll ever see this. But in terms of like the ones that earn points, Dozo's #1 partner is a tie with Tatsugiri tying Golden Go. So I wonder if Tatsugiri is like getting a little jealous, a little angry. Like I thought we had something. I thought we had something special. Maybe Carson's gonna correct that though.
I'm trying, man. Trying my best.
Where's K-Swas? You're important to this. Where's the... Do you have a different Tatsugiri? Is that why?
Yeah, he had the
Ah,
yellow one, stretchy.
It doesn't count. It's Tatsugiri. It counts the Tatsugiri form separately. It was 13 out of 18.
Oh wait, so then
Yeah,
never
Tetsu
mind.
is still number 1. Which is funny because like most of these dozos weren't even running order up.
Mhm.
I guess it was half of them were in order up. I mean,
Well,
I
I mean,
didn't.
if you're
I
not
didn't
running
run it.
order up, then you get to run a fun. It's like basically running a shiny. You get to pick which one you like.
Yeah,
The color better.
I just used the one that my friend gave me after I begged him for Pokemon. Shout out Marcus Dion.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Still just got the Terra Orb. That's it.
Let's move on here to Carrie's team because it's you look at this and like first off, part of it does look dated. Like I thought we stopped using Tauros a couple weeks ago, but also it's like Dragapult. Wait, that's the wrong side of the spectrum. What's happening here? That's special Dragapult. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's it's a powerful Pokemon. We saw it a lot more in closed team sheet when people maybe were expecting physical, but yeah, Draco Meteors hit hard, and I don't know. It's I think that people have maybe just gotten to build around the Terra Dragon version a lot. And having a powerful ghost move is also really strong this format. It's really, really good neutral damage into so many teams. And so I can see Choice Specs, Terra Ghost, Shadow Ball picking up a lot of knockouts, just doing a lot of damage to a lot of random stuff. That maybe is not expecting something like a Dragapult to be spitting that out.
You probably get to say, I mean, I'm like guessing here, but you probably get to say that you're Terra Ghosting and living the Dragon Darts and then OHKOing back.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like really good in that matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's harder because like they might have redirection, but if they
Sure.
they can't like lead Sneasler Pulse nearly as effectively into this for sure.
Right.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I do think that the Tauros was really cool though. We saw it. I watched I think one stream set all weekend, and it was in fact Carson lost to Carry. Yeah, the Tauros looked really good there at the very least.
Yeah, pretty strong in a dozo, especially when I have like a bajillion things on my team that proc the mirror herb. So pretty easy to get because I can't use coaching. He can switch it and get a Defiant boost. He gets my Psychic Seed. He gets Dozo boost if I boost Dozo in front of it. Like there's just so much, and all of those boosts matter in some way, shape, or form in the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's got other applications too. Like one thing that happened to me once when I tried this Pokemon out was my opponent or you proc an Archaludon stamina and you get the defense boost, so they can't actually body press you effectively. It's pretty cool there too. And so it has all sorts of like random applications, and we saw Gyarados from some players in Lima as their like water type intimidate user. Having a water type intimidate user is some really nice roll compression in this format. But I think Tauros is the better one. It just has more powerful moves in Wave Crash, Close Combat. Aqua Jet is really, really strong. You can run Raging Bull if you're scared of the screens teams. Also, speaking of which, I'm a little surprised the Dragapult wasn't Infiltrator and it was Clear Body, because that does seem it might have come up against some of the screens teams. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think I like the Water Tauros a lot. I still think the Mon is a little underpowered for the format, but it is really, really strong roll compression. It does a lot of things that we want things to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the most eye-opening thing about that set that we got to see from Carson versus Carey, I just, unfortunate as it was for Carson fans, was just like revealing that you don't need like the literal win button Dozo counterplay to beat Dozo. A lot of people, sometimes even myself included, think you need like a haze or a clear smog or something, or to like prevent Dozo from being Dozo. But just having the ability to hit it, pre and post Terra was enough in this set. Dragapult, the special set, doing really well at that because of Draco, Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, basically all of those attacks contributing in some way, shape, or form to slowly getting there alongside, other things that fit general teams well too. Is just like, you know, having Rillaboom to keep your Pokemon healthy and Fake Out Cycle, or having Tauros to get off Intimidates into it. There are more ways to beat Dozo than just simply Haze and Clear Smog.
Yeah, I think like even Thunderbolt Electabuzz does good damage into it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. It's a lot harder to build like this, and
I
like
agree.
I would have to ask him. I'm not even sure that it happened on purpose, but
Right.
uh, if you can pull it off, there are definitely like other ways to beat Dozo besides just that one win button, especially when like Dozo players for the most part are building to beat the like beat Dozo buttons rather than building their teams to beat something more like this where it's just like an awkward combination of pieces for your team.
Yep.
And like Carrie's team specifically was very strong into my Dozo set, but I think other Dozo sets that people could run, it would be less strong into. Like I know he played and beat Kevin Swastik, but Kevin said that like his Dozo set was actually very strong into Carrie's team. He just like made a lot of misplays, and that's why he lost his set. Because uh, you might be able to pull it up on the stream, Audie, but Kevin's team was a lot more of a, like an eclectic take on Dozo. I think it's like Covert Cloak, Oblivious. So he just has a lot harder time. Like you can't fake it out with Rillaboom. You can't intimidate it with Tauros. So
Yep. Yep.
you just get to play
Also,
differently based on the set.
we do have Patrick here in the chat saying that Clear Body was chosen to deal with the speed dropping moves in Icy Wind and Electro Web, and then other like random stat drops. And you can also switch it on Parting Shot. So, yeah, that's some decent application. I actually still like Infiltrator better. The thought of it that still sounds better to me. But like, you know, I'm not gonna pretend that I know better than the person who made the team, of course. So
Yeah. It is
that
one of
makes
those
sense.
things where it kind of depends on what you're scared of. I really respected. I really thought the Screens Rain team that Ethan cut Baltimore with, that Bevzy cut Dortmund with, was one of the stronger teams people could be using. I practiced that matchup so much, and I found it was just like such an awful matchup. And it's cool that that would have been a really, really good tech into that matchup. But also, the only person using that team was Pengy, and he got what, top 32 with the team.
I played another one. He
Uh,
didn't finish very well. Like I don't think that guy made day 2, but I
not
did play one other one.
not the literal only person using the team, but the only person who did well with
Yeah.
it. I
Sure.
know I prepped that matchup so much. At the end of it, I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna dodge the matchup, and of course I queued into Pengy round 2. You know I did. But but yeah, so that is like the one cool application of Infiltrator that I had looked at. But no, I definitely see why Clear Body is still applicable. I see Wind Electro definitely still around in the format.
I gotta be a
Mhm.
hater for a second. Pingy's team was the most boring team I've ever watched on stream. That was like the lamest stream match I've ever watched. Like, shout out to him and Wolf for giving everyone a lunch break because we didn't have a lunch break and they just gave us one. But wow, like
Dude,
it was a good strategy and like he won the set because of it. And like I get why it works, but man, is it boring to watch as a spectator. Like it just the totem arch, like it's got +6 defense, it's got screens up, the Sinistra is coming in, out, in, out. You've got friend guard. If your mouse hole doesn't die immediately, like, oh my goodness. You're just asking to get crit.
so I was talking to Pengi about that match a little bit. Apparently, not only was the match really long, but apparently they got delayed for like almost 30 minutes or 45 minutes or something because they kept having network issues before it. And him and Wolf, like the judge kept telling them to start the game, and then they would get to like turn 1 where they're trying to select moves, and then they would say, "Oh wait, why are these guys in game? We have to back out." So they had to do that like 3-4 times.
Weird. I will say I brought a book with me and I was just reading my book in between rounds. And while this was happening, and someone who I don't know, I'm sorry if I do know you. I mean, a lot of people at the regionals, but someone sat down across from me and started telling me about how they just saw most incredible matchup Pokemon they've ever seen, and it was the Pengi versus Wolf set. And they were like, man, both players played so well. It was some of the best Pokemon I've seen in my life. And here Carson is like, man, this shit is boring.
I think a lot of people agree with me on Twitter. I know NA was getting flamed for the play in that match. I talked to Wolf after it, and like he admitted that he was fatigued in the match because of like these games are almost going to timer. It's a 3-game set, and they did wait 30 minutes before, just like getting in and out of union circles. Like, and being up on the stage for that long, like that's an hour and 30 minutes on the stage. Like it
That's a
takes
long
a toll
time.
on you. Like it makes sense why there was so many misplays on both sides by the end of game 3. Like that's just a lot of time in the spotlight.
And credit to Pengi, because he queued up this team that he's going to do that every single round of every single game.
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
he
yeah.
and he had the endurance to
cannot
do
take
that. So that's hard. That's hard to do.
Yeah, congrats
We
to him
are
for top
talking about,
32 with that. Like I would get burnt out
I was
so
gonna say
fast.
we are talking about Wolf here, so why don't we actually talk about the last top 8 team?
Let's do it.
We have yet to mention Wolf's team, and yeah, this is another case where if you were playing and practicing ladder leading up to the tournament, you'd seen this one around. In fact, I think it even won a limitless tournament. Somebody, whether it was part of their group or not, won a limitless tournament with this.
It was Marcus
And
Theon. He was not part of the group.
got it. Anyways, yeah, it caught on because somebody was doing well with it, and people were like, "Yeah, this is pretty weird. This is pretty different. Let's give it a try." And yeah, like the I guess the star of the show here is Jan Mega, which I think Wolf talked about in a post winners interview type thing, and explained that he was looking through the Tailwind setters and couldn't find one that he liked that could get up Tailwind, faster than Sneasler. Basically, you basically had to opt into the priority guys that we've been talking about doing so poorly, but Jan Mega could do it just like later. It was weird because of speed boost, and I thought that was pretty cool. Honestly, I wasn't that impressed by the Pokemon. Like it was just doing like okay damage during the set. The delayed Tailwinds are really good, and of course having EQ plus a flying type plus Tailwind on a bear that's a bit faster was really really it's a really strong thing to have, especially if people don't expect to have to deal with faster Saluna that can also go into Trick Room with a P2.
Yeah, my favorite thing on this team actually isn't the Yanmega at all. It's the Archaludon set.
I like that
Right.
too.
I know I played either Wolf or Yotam on ladder like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I immediately stole that Arch set and put it in the builder, and it was actually on like the short list of 3 mons that I almost brought to the tournament over Dozo on my team, and I really think Arch is like basically the only viable electric type this format, and so just going all in on I'm using an electric type with Electroshot T-Bolt is really nice. And like when I tested it, I used Sturdy, but I think the Stalwart and being a lot bulkier than people expect, like we saw it on stream, take some pretty meaty Terra Ground earthquakes from Alberto's Garchomp. Like, and it kind of just shrugged those off. Like, it was something that, like, if you saw a Sturdy Arch, you would expect it to take it to Sturdy, and it was doing like 70, 75%. And I thought that set was really cool just because like it's definitely doing something that you're not expecting. Stalwart is something that you can like reading comprehension check people really easily with. Like
True.
Stamina and Stalwart look so similar if
Mhm.
you're scanning a team sheet. Like you really got to be on your game to catch that one.
Yeah.
And I mean, if they electroshot past to follow me and you weren't expecting it, like it's probably game.
It's also just kind of not built into your muscle memory because it's a mechanic that basically just this mon uses. Like,
Yeah.
there's Duraludon, which if you remembered back in Gen 8, maybe that was something that stuck with you.
Oh, I
Or
used Duraludon back then.
and then there's Propeller Tail on Barraskewda, which not really used. And also, I feel like it uses Swift Swim. I don't know. I guess if you're committed to using Barraskewda, it's probably like close to a 50-50 split on the ability. I really don't know. We could go look at the usage stats, but regardless, pretty slim amount of people using that fish.
Thanks for pulling that one up, Bobby.
I had to. I was 16-1 on ladder with my team, and then I lost to the N Mega.
Dude, I lost to the N Mega guy. It was either Yotam or Wolf, like I think 5 times in a row when I wasn't using Dozo. Like those teams had nothing for it, which is funny because I played the team twice this tournament. Once facing Wolf, once with Carl, and with Dozo, you just auto won into that team. Like that team had no Dozo matchup.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's cool. It's cool that we've I saw Fevzi also hyping up Yanma as well, and so it's cool that both of these guys have had their time to shine for like slightly different reasons as well. But I think that honestly, something that isn't mentioned is that like at least for me, the bug flying coverage was actually really annoying. Air slash going real fast, having a flinch chance, like that is actually like it is a very annoying Pokemon.
Yeah, I know Carl got some people with the Dire Claw Air Slash combination. And I mean, you have Tailwind with Speed Boost, you have Unburdened White Herb Sneasler. Like with those two, you can kind of just say, I'm going faster than you and I'm hacking the fuck out of you. Like, and there's not really anything you can do. Like, unless you have Trick Room, like those two guys are going faster than you, and you just have to hope that they don't proc the secondary effects.
It was really crazy to see spoilers if you haven't watched the set, but Wolf and Andrew Zhang's match, it like was really turned on its head when both players realized that the Porygon 2 on Andrew's team was actually slower than the Ursaluna. Wolf's Ursaluna built to be able to use Tailwind, I imagine. Just being able to, finish off that Ursaluna, it was like at low HP or something before it could even get off one more attack, really changed how both players kind of viewed the matchup. And I think that kind of stuff is really cool. Even when you see a team that has Pokemon you've seen before, EVs really can just change the game. So, that's more just like a shout to like how awesome Pokemon is and how just like even something like EV spreads can really personalize how you play your team. That also like goes with the Stalwart Arch, being bulky but not Assault Vest, Power Herb Sail, really cool.
Yeah, and people were talking about. I think everyone realized, except for maybe Marco Fierro, realized that like NA was going to be the one to have to innovate on this format. Look at these teams. I'm so happy with this top 8. It's such a cool like top 9. There's so many cool Pokemon in here. It's cool to see all the different ways that people have team built to try to figure out this format, and just a lot of innovation here, and even moving on into the rest of top 16, top 32, day 2, a lot of really cool teams that did really well. Actually, looks like top 16 is actually way less cool than top 8 now that I'm looking at it a little closer.
Wow.
But, all right, Carson.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Like it has a Dondozo, like Tatsugiri in that. Like that shit sucks. I'm not gonna.
There's a Mimikyu. There's a Como. Like
that's true. It's true.
Yeah, no, and it drags it completely down because Dondozo Tatsugiri is doing well. Sorry, I'm not gonna pretend to like the fish for you, Carson. You know I hate this guy.
And you're the one who told me to run it too, so you can't even complain that I brought it.
No.
I was gonna bring something else.
Yeah, I was like, you need to bring the fish. You need to bring this fish. You are a fish guy. Let's talk about your team though. We haven't actually gotten to it yet.
Yeah. I did not know what to use at this tournament about 2 weeks ago. So Michael Derbesti gave me his paste from Dortmund, and I started spamming it on a ladder with the goal of finding someone on OTS ladder who beat the shit out of me and I could steal their team. I thought there was going to be a lot more people running that team than I actually saw at the tournament, which might just be my selection bias from who I got paired up by. But like I didn't see a ton of it, but I expected there to be a lot more than there was, and so I really wanted a good matchup into that team as like my number one goal. So I wanted something that like stomped it. And I felt like I was playing that team at a pretty high level. Like I was 16, 1700s on Showdown. And I faced some guy using these 6 mons. The sets were pretty different from what I ended up running, but he was using these 6 and he destroyed me. And I like messaged every group chat, friend group I'm in, and I'm like, this is it. I found it. Like I was so happy that someone beat me with Dondozo while I was using Hayes Primarina. And I took the team. I made the sets my own. Uh, like the Tatsugiri ended up being really clutch. I worked on that set a lot to arrive at the safety goggles Terra Ghost, and every choice on that set ended up winning me like at least a round, if not 2. So I was super happy with that because like the choice scarf Tatsugiri that's usually on like the more offensive dozo teams like this, I think is just kind of awful and like just doesn't win you games when it comes out of Dozo's mouth after you kill a Dozo. And this safety goggles Tatsu really did. Uh, I don't know what else more to say about the team, really. Like the Annihilate and the Dragonite were kind of awful during the tournament. I think I brought Sneasler and Didi Dozo Tatsu to like at least 75% of my games. And it was just something that I was really comfortable with. It's an offensive team that like puts a lot of pressure on you by creating pins, and I think that's something I'm good at capitalizing on better than like I'm not good at like defensive gameplay. I can't play Instant Amogus to save my life. Uh, so I just went with what I know, I guess.
Dozo Tots was kind of on fraud watch going into this tournament. You know, people were saying like it just really can't do it anymore, and I was saying to you that like this is the tournament to use it at to like capitalize on people getting lazy with it, and I also think that people were maybe allowed to be lazy on it going into this tournament. You know, you didn't have to run Haze or Clear Smog. You could also just like dodge. You could maybe just live with it and dodge. And I feel
Yeah,
like that probably worked for a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people maybe went in too over prepared for a Dozo, or maybe they got punished for it. You know, we obviously saw Primarina didn't do very well. And I feel like a big part of that Pokemon's role, besides being, a water fairy, which is awesome for defensive typing, is that, it helps deal with Dozo. And um, yeah, now going forward, do you think that Dozo is kind of back on the map on the radar? Do you think people are going to be able to take your team or innovate off of this concept and go further with it?
I could see like at Lille it doing well just because I think a lot of people won't be either agile enough to re-engineer their team to have a better Dozo matchup in the 1 week we have before, or they're just gonna say like it's EU, we're balanced players. I'm probably not gonna face a Dozo. I'd rather have my slots dedicated to winning balance mirrors rather than like the one odd Dozo I may face. Like especially if you're playing balance yourself, like you can always just skill diff a Dozo player. And if you think you're going to be better than the Dozo players you play, you can probably just beat them with Instant Amogus. Uh, I do think it could continue to do well throughout the season, especially if Primarina continues to have such a horrible conversion rate that top players start dropping it just because, like, personally, I don't think Primarina is that good. I think it's a super physical heavy meta. Its base defense is really low. Its speed stat isn't great. It just takes a lot of damage before it gets off a move. Like, it does good damage when it gets going, like if you have throat spray or something, but besides that, it's not as high impact as other Pokemon. Like Dondozo as a solo water type like Colin had. Like Yawn is putting on a ton of pressure. Like even completely uninvested, like Wave Crash is a good move. Like it does damage.
Not a Gyarados situation.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's gonna continue to do well. Wouldn't be surprised to see something similar to my team, maybe like some edits made, like dropping the Ape or the Dragonite. I wouldn't be surprised to see that make like a deep run at Lil, but also I could see Dozo going back to kind of semi-irrelevance after this
Mm-hmm.
weekend. I mean, there's only a few of us that really love playing Dozo. It's mostly me, Chuppa, maybe Zach Thornburg that have kind of carried the Dozo torch for North America, and then Joan Perello and maybe Len VGC. He's more of a hard trick room guy. Uh, so I think it's just one of those things. Like people that have played Dozo, all Scarlet and Violet, like to keep playing Dozo for the most part, but it's not the easiest thing to pick up. It's just kind of a weird Pokemon.
Well, so to add on to how this team, I think this team also okay, this team also won the cup after Louisville as well. I lost to the player who ended up winning, Cody, who I think said they were Z's cousin. And I noticed that they did not use this team in day one, and I guess they ripped it after you went undefeated and won the cup with it too. So like,
Okay.
yeah. So like, it's still around. Like I mean, the fact that a player was able to miss day two and then take the team and immediately go on to win the next tournament the next day means that the team is really good. I think it has a lot of staying
Maybe
power.
it's easier to pick up than I thought. I mean, I picked it up and like immediately got like top 5 on ladder, but I just attributed that to playing Dondozo for the last basically 2 years.
Mhm.
But maybe it's just easy. Like I don't know. I think it's a strong team though. I think there's a lot that could be improved. I There's definitely some auto losses that I was aware of, and I tried all week before the regional to build a team that didn't have Dondozo, but still capitalize on the strengths of like the coaching Annihilate plus Dragonite into like balanced teams. And I wasn't able to do it, so I ended up just running Dozo. But uh,
Mhm.
I don't know. There's some room to go from here, I think.
Yeah.
You have Mont in the chat saying everyone use that team. He was the reason I dropped the team in the first place. I played 11 games versus him. I won a singular game, and it was due to Dire Claw hacks. So yeah, if anyone wants an auto loss, Mont will hand it to you using that team.
I mean, you did say that the hardest matchup was the double fake out Hayes Primarina team that EU seems to love, right?
Yes,
So maybe not the best
I could.
call for a European regional, but at Sacramento,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're right. The like Goldingo, Rillaboom, Primarina team is about as close to an auto loss as you can get. There's really nothing you can do. Like nothing on this team hits Goldingo besides Dondozo. Like Throat Chop and Stomping Tantrum aren't real ways of damaging Goldingo. So if they have a way to guarantee getting haze off, you kind of just lose to Nasty Plot Gold.
yeah. All right, and then while we're talking about your run, you of course went undefeated throughout Swiss, and you ended up top 16. And you said you wanted to bitch and moan a little bit about the circuit, the structure of the tournament. So I'm gonna let you go off.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty lame that it was even possible in the first place. I finished the tournament with the best record out of everyone, even the winner, and I feel like it's pretty lame that that's possible. Like I went 12-1, the winner went 14-2. Uh, I think 12-1 is a stronger record than 14-2. Um,
Mhm.
and I just don't like that that's a thing that can happen. Like being in the same top cut and facing 9-2 players as an 11-0. Like I don't know how you make that better, but it almost felt like I should get to have like one loss and keep playing if I haven't lost at all yet. Like people
Mm-hmm.
like second, third, fourth, all of them had 3 losses on the day or 3 losses during the tournament and I had one, and it just felt kind of lame to me that like what was the point of going undefeated?
I don't know why it took me until now to realize what exactly you're saying or like what would be like the solution, but I guess this is just you're talking about double a limb, right?
Yeah, basically. Like I
Because that's what like other games do is that if you do really well early, in this case, you're not getting rewarded at all. We're talking about like your 2 losses kind of being like your 2 lives, and in double a limb, you kind of, I mean, you can still make it to the next stage even with 2 losses, right? For some people, Actually, yeah, that's what we're seeing is that you can get 2 losses and win the whole tournament. And so that wouldn't exactly be double a limb, right?
But what about you're eliminated when you get your 3rd loss. Like
Yeah, yeah.
almost everyone besides like people that went 10-1 in Swiss and then lost immediately, like Andrew Nowak and me, and then like Mars were X2 along with the winner. But everyone else in the tournament had at least 3 losses. And it felt like I should get a chance to get there, or else what's the point of like continuing to try once I get like why did I even play my last round against Colin when I'm 10-0?
Mhm.
I was guaranteed for the bye. Like I think this structure of the tournament should incentivize you to play out every round to the best of your ability, or else like what's the point of having that round for everyone?
Right.
Mhm.
And there are so I guess I actually there are a lot of other problems that I have with it too. I think someone referenced the situation with Baltimore seniors in chat I'll because that literally the senior that was playing was incentivized to lose their last round, so it'd be top 4 cut instead of top 8. And so there's a lot of like
Yeah, like what?
yeah, and then I'm trying to find if anyone has this. I saw a TCG player saying that they went 6-2. They weren't exactly happy to make day 2 because if they show up, they went 4-0 and they still got top 32. They did not top cut the tournament because
Yeah,
it was
I
X1
sent that
one
to
cut.
you.
Yeah,
That's
It was
difficult.
Alex Skamansky. He got 18th, top 32 from 4-0 day 2, and then he said it made him want to quit.
yeah, it's like
I don't blame him.
this tournament structure is here I got it pulled up. This tournament structure is not good for a lot of different reasons. I mentioned the problem with in LATAM where you have 6 rounds of day 1 and then you're done at like 3:00 and then you have 2 rounds of day 2 and you just have to show up. And then also stuff like this happening for TCG. I've complained about this before. I really think the problem stems from them trying to put the same system and implement the same system for TCG and VGC when TCG had exactly 8 players in cut because they have intentional draws, and so everyone just knows exactly how many points they have to get going into the last round. And you have shit like this happening. And on the other hand, if you're in VG, you can, if you win out, you are guaranteed to make top cut, but we have a 26-person top cut, and that is really unfair to the people who actually have really incredible Swiss runs and are rewarded with top 16 when the way that the circuit structure payouts work, and I got to pull that up too. Did I have that one up? No, I got too many tabs open. The way the circuit structure payout works is that you get so many more points for getting top 8 than for getting top 16, right? You lose 120 points by losing that round, or you gain 120 points by winning that round. The biggest drop off for any of these. All right, and that works in TCG where they cut to a top 8, sometimes a top 9. It doesn't work in VGC where these brackets are decided by single elim. And the player who had maybe the most impressive, maybe like the second or third most impressive run, certainly should not be getting half as many points as the person who went 13-3. Right? That's just kind of stupid to me.
Yeah, and I mean so my record was 12-1. Like there's multiple people in top 8 that went 11-3. Like I had 1 more win and 2 less losses, but like they're getting close to double the amount of CP that I got.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting more money,
Well,
like
yeah,
more
forget the CP prize money,
TCG
man.
pack. It's like it's just I didn't feel at all rewarded for having a good Swiss run. I was like, why didn't I just go 9-2 and have good resistance?
Right. And so here's what I will say. I think that for determining the tournament winner, this is fun. If you go 6-2 in day 1, under the old system, you would have to go in 6 straight games to go 12-2, and then you have to win 3 more. You have to win 9 games in day 2. Under the new system, if you go 6, you have to win 8 games because you have to win 1 in what was 9 rounds of day 1. But in this system, you still have to win, I believe, 8 games going from 6-2 to winning the tournament. And so it's basically the same thing. To determine the tournament winner, you basically have to have the same record overall. But for determining places basically everything below the winner. It is incredibly unfair, and even extending that further to determine the placements in top 16, top 32, top 64. It's really silly, especially for the players who don't make top cut, to only have 12 rounds instead of 14 rounds, to have only 3 rounds of day 2 to determine their placement, and then they're done at 11. You know, like day 2 Swiss got done super early. You're done for the day when like you have time for another round in VGC, not in TCG because the rounds last longer and they have more players. But like it means that you have this huge number of players that have the same record and a ton of resistance based determining. In this case, it didn't. Tommy got very lucky that they didn't. That they had exactly 64
they hard
players.
cut it to.
But like it's like I really do think that when there's a big difference in terms of the World's Championship point payouts between getting top 128 and top 64 and top 32, you should just be having these players play more rounds to determine that, play more Swiss rounds, and it's just like a more fair system for everyone, even though it doesn't really impact who wins the tournament. I think it's more fair for literally everyone else where specifically you place. On top of that, adding to that, it sucks that
about the prizing.
Well, like I know Tommy, you went 8-3, and you lost your first
8-3,
and you lost your first round of day 2, and then you won out, which is impressive. You went 8-3, but like
that was great.
It must suck to lose a round and be like, oh, well, I guess I'm just out of cut. I'm out of prize money, right? Like, why am I? And you're playing for championship points and like a couple of booster packs.
The championship points don't even matter for me because I'm kind of not going for the World's invite. I just kind of played it out to see how well I could do because I haven't played an event in a long time. But it kind of highlights that for a lot of people, like you're just kind of if you're in day 2 and you go into day 2 at X2, you're almost incentivized to just like grab whatever CP you get and then play in the cup, and you'll get more prizing and more championship points if you think you could win, like do decently in the cup afterwards.
While we're talking about that, I told Tommy after the cup this, I went 5-2 in the cup after the tournament, and I found out later I got $90 worth of Pokemon Center credit, essentially, including this big old Fuecoco. I got $90 worth of stuff for going 5-2 in a cup. Which a cup that, by the way, does not have the top 120 players in Louisville playing in it.
Right.
So it's like, how many booster packs did you get?
I got a box, which is like retail value. If you go sell it to a vendor right there, it's probably like $70.
Yeah, so like
it's your entry fee. It's your entry fee back.
Yeah, so I got more pricing than you did because I got 9 booster packs for going 5-3 and $90 for this shit. It's messed up. It's really messed up.
What was the entry for the cup?
It was $25.
25.
And so I mean, I guess with that it does kind of even out. But notably, also with the cup, I see someone saying they went 4-3 in the cup and they got 20 packs and a plushie. They gave out prizing to literally every person who won even a single game. Which meant the line was super long, which was really annoying. But yeah, like literally everyone who they gave out prize wall tickets per win basically. And so yeah, which one, by the way, apparently they already know how to determine prizing based on number of wins instead of resistance, which should be doing for regionals in the first place, right? Like they should be giving all the 8-3s the same number of championship points. They should give you more points for winning 12 games instead of 11 games instead of 10 games. But like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just complaining right now, and I think there are. In fact, I thought of 4 different reasons. I got to write this out and make it a nice little script so I can make it a YouTube video. I'm going to have a YouTube video where I sit and complain about the circuit structure, the tournament structure rather. So if you like my rant videos, look forward to that. That'll come out sometime in the next couple of weeks, I think.
One thing I want to say too about this structure right now is that because the cut is so big, like it's taking top Swiss seeds and facing them against like very low Swiss seeds, and then these people can obviously lose just even based off matchup, and they don't get like shit for getting like between 17th and whatever the cut threshold was. Like I think it was top 26 this tournament,
26 or something.
like you don't get any money for that, even though you still made top cut. Like you barely get. I don't know what the TCG pricing is now, like for how many cards you get or whatever, but like you just don't get that much compared to like if you win that match. Like it's kind of dumb to make people play like a $750 grudge match instead of fixing that with an extra round of Swiss, and then having the next round be 120 CP jump is also kind of crazy to me. It's like we really need to lower how like impactful these single elim sets are by increasing Swiss.
Fun fact: you actually get, it looks like, the same number of booster packs for top 16 and top 32. So it's just $750 grudge match. That's it.
Okay, well, I mean it's still a lot of money.
That's a big chunk of money. That's like, I mean, it's literally something versus nothing, right?
Yeah, you're profiting off the tour if you make top 16, and you are definitely not. Just with the two.
One more round of
booster
Swiss would
boxes.
fix me. Just one more round.
Just one more
One
round.
more
man.
round, please.
I
please.
legitimately,
I could fix him.
So the thing is, I legitimately thought that 9 rounds in day 1 was totally fine. Yes, it's a bit of an endurance test, but like, I thought it was okay. We were getting done in a reasonable time. We were getting done by like 6:37ish normally for most tournaments, which I thought was okay. And then like the 5 rounds of day 2 was also great. It was really fun to play in those day 2s. You were playing like they were hard. You were playing really tough rounds, but that was the fun part. Was you were playing a good player almost every single round in day 2. It was great to experience. And if you weren't playing like the players who weren't nearly as good in day 2, often they still got to they kind of got filtered out, but they still got to play some really competitive sets against other people too, right? So like I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed playing 5 rounds of day 2 Swiss when I got to do it. Yeah, and so I don't. And then again, like you're playing not just for top 8, but also playing for top 16 and prize money, right? And so it felt that felt really rewarding. But the problem was it just did not mesh with TCG because TCG games last longer, and so 9 rounds last longer for them in day 1. It was a little infeasible, and then having 6 rounds of day 2 lasted really long for them as well. And so they were getting out of the venue really late, and that messes with like the staff, how they have to stay longer and they have to pack everything up and all that stuff. And so I get why they had to change it for TCG, but I really thought we had like pretty much a perfect system going for VGC that no one was really complaining about, other than like, oh, boohoo, I went 11-3 and bubbled out of top cut, like tough shit, but we could. I
did it so many times.
Yeah.
Go 12-2. I don't know what to tell you.
Right, yeah.
I
just
tried,
win one more
man.
game, bro.
I think I bubbled cut at 11-3 4 times in that structure.
So I did it twice, yeah. Like it doesn't feel good every time.
Yeah.
But it's just like it is what it is.
Yeah.
The only problem with the old circuit, the old tournament structure was that resistance was basically exclusively based on your day 2 opponents, and it was only based on your day 2 opponents' record in day 2, which led to some really wonky things. Other than that, I like if they could fix the resistance to make it their overall record, for example, that'd be pretty much perfect. I really
shout
do
out to my NAIC 2023 run with the 10-0 start and then bubbling cut on resistance because all the players I faced they lost out after we played.
Yeah, drops actually, day 2 drops in the system we just left did hurt quite a bit, I will say.
But yeah, I
like
mean,
when if it's 5 rounds or 4 rounds, like that is a major hit to your res, having somebody drop at any point.
Yeah, I mean if they go 0-2 and drop, you just got hit with a 25% resistance.
Yeah.
Goose egg.
Yep.
and God forbid they go 1-4 and don't drop, right? Like,
That's what my round 1 opponent did at NAIC.
Yep. So okay, we got our complaining at the circuit out of the way. Don't worry, we will do it again. We'll do it again real soon because it sucks and it's gonna keep happening. And if we had some more Europeans on, we would have gotten, I'm sure, Joan, who also was the 1 seed. Also using Dondozo in Dortmund. I told Carson that using solo Dozo, and also lost in top 16 to just getting dire clawed the shit out of the tournament at Dortmund, and that also like feels real bad that you went 11-1 and just get dire clawed out. Okay. Don't talk about that. Let's talk about a couple more highlight teams from this tournament before we do our Lille preview, because there are a few other cool teams that I wanted to quickly hit on, and some Pokemon that we kind of wrote off for dead. That did really well. Starting with Drew Nowak, one of the other players who went X1 and lost that the all important money round, not money round, but
Metagross.
yeah, he's Metagross. He's Metagross. That's Nora's team. Hold up, here we go. The Metagross. What do you think about Metagross? The rest of the team kind of boring. What do you think about Metagross?
I thought the
Bad.
Metagross was good. There was he didn't make day 2, so he's not on Cut Explorer, but I faced him pretty late in the tournament, so he must have just bubbled top 256. He was also using the same Metagross set, but I think Terra Steel. And like it was strong. Like the AV set takes hits well. I don't know how good its typing is into the meta, especially being double Ensign weak, but
I
like
really like that it's not taking super effective damage from close combat.
yeah.
Like from any even Flamigo is not doing super effective damage to it. That's like kind of sweet.
Yeah, I think it's a great
if you
coaching
can keep this
recipient
thing-
too.
If you can keep it safe from King Gambit, I guess specifically, it probably does just chew up a lot of the Pult balance scores. You know, it's going to do well into Dragapult, doesn't give a shit about darts. It's going to do well into Sneasler. You know, Heavy Slam Bullet Punch is a great 2-tap to have.
Mhm.
And then, you know, I guess the King Gambit, you know, you can't really get through that guy, and you can't really get through like Magmar or Electabuzz too quickly, but Stomping Tantrum does some damage, but not quite enough. Regardless, though, I think it's almost it's funny to say, but I think that priority moves are really like alternate priority moves that aren't like extreme speed or something are really nice. And you know, Grassy Glide from Rillaboom is okay, but it's a hard Pokemon to keep in front of a Sneasler. You know, looking at Nora's team with the Mimikyu as well, like having Shadow Sneak, having Bullet Punch, just great at dealing with all these Sash Sneaslers.
Yep. And that was actually the next Pokemon I was going to bring up. Mimikyu was something that has not really seen a lot of play. I know Nails saw it on High Ladder and Yoink did as well, and James Evans, those two worked together. James made day 2, but yeah, Nora. Actually, I just recorded a team report with Nora. That'll come out later in the week. And she was saying that yeah, she was laddering a lot. Mimikyu felt really good. It does barely enough damage if you have Terra Ghost and Life Orb. And so it's cool to see that Pokemon also popping off.
Yeah, and I guess one more Pokemon that you know deserves a mention for being so special, so different is the team from Junshi. Look at that guy! What is this dolphin thing?
Never
Is
heard
this
of
new? Did this come out this generation? I don't know. There's so many water types and they're so bad, so maybe it's time for Palafin.
It went from 0 usage to hero.
Don't bring the Haze Palafin back, please.
Well, there was a Haze Palafin too. There was 2 Palafins in Top Cut. Giovanni Arabar also used it, and his actually did have Haze.
Oh, I knew he had Haze. I was praying I didn't face him.
Yeah.
He was the one person besides Carrie that I was like, I do not want to face this person because I do not have a good matchup here.
Yeah.
Not much to say about it other because like we know what Palafin does, but the choice band one's a little bit different, and the other one is Terra Grass, so maybe people just need to break it out of like the like static Terra Water, Mystic Water set that we've used for so long, and try some different things. I think there was also like a Scarf Palafin team high ladder that we could maybe see popping up at a future tournament. No, maybe it wasn't Scarf. It was Banded and the T-Tar was Scarf. Anyways.
Yeah, the T-Tar was Scarf.
I do
I
like the
remember this
flip
one.
turn Palafin a lot more than the like standard Wave Crash Jet Punch set. I think Palafin does actually hit a pretty good speed tier for this format. I mean, it's just faster than like a lot of the like 156, 150-ish speed mons in this format, like namely like Flamigo, Goldingo, stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of boards where you can just flip turn safely. And I don't think we saw much flip turn Palafin in past formats because, I mean, there's usually a Flutter Mane on most boards and it can just Moonblast your little baby dolphin for a ridiculous amount of damage. But now you kind of just get to flip turn out for free and come back in later with like really, really strong Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then, like we talked about, priority moves also more important than ever with the Sash Chancellor everywhere. Especially for these slower, balancy teams, they really appreciate having some
All right.
priority moves. I see Parker in chat. Congratulations on your finish. We did already talk about your team, and as per usual, this will be out on YouTube tomorrow morning, and so you can check out the full podcast on YouTube.
Adi, I think it's a crime though. There's one more team that we got to talk about before we move on, because there are just so many. It's Blastoise. We haven't talked about Blastoise yet.
Oh yeah,
I thought
oh
you were
yeah.
gonna
Okay.
talk about the Blaziken team. Actually, not gonna lie.
I
don't care about Blaziken. I don't care.
Yeah. Go off, Tommy. Let's hear about it.
Dude, Blastoise was sick because like there is a lot of teams that just disrespected big water damage. Like they said they're gonna control it with Rillaboom. But when you can spout through you click Shell Smash and then Water Spout and you just kill everything in the format that isn't multi-scale Dragonite, Dozo, or Gastrodon. It's a great Pokemon. I think you guys ranked it like kind of low on your ratings. Was it a week or two ago? But I actually got the team from Rajan. He just believed in the turtle and said that he was going to click the one button. It's really clean into a lot of teams because they just don't have, like, if they don't have spread moves, they really have no way to damage your Blastoise around the NDD, and you can just kind of blow through them with free setup.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your tournament. How'd you feel? Tell us about your round one. Where
Oh my god, dude! All right, like I looked at the team sheet round one, and I was just like, "What the fuck do I do?" Like this guy, he had it was a really cool team because he had like Scarf Annihilate and Hisuian Electrode, and the Annihilate it was like Final Gambit Rage Fist. And the Electrode had Bullet Seed and Electro Web. So like, maybe it wasn't an auto loss. Like in the minute and 30 seconds of team preview, I was just not able to figure out first thing in the morning what I was supposed to do against the team. But he just could click a 300 base power Rage Fist against anything he wanted in the team. Like I had no clue what to do. That was crazy. Like GG's to that dude because that was out of control. I was chatting with him after the match, and I was like, he goes, yeah, I was just like checked out of this format. I didn't know what to do, so I just wanted to bring something goofy, and he did. That shit's crazy. The tournament run, otherwise though, it was pretty clean. I felt pretty comfortable. Like despite this is like literally my second event in the last 12 months. The other event I played was Stockholm. So I haven't played a North American event in quite literally a year. So going into this, I was like, I had some self doubt, and I didn't really feel comfortable with the format at all. Nothing really felt like it was working, which seemed to be a common sentiment among a lot of players. Actually, I feel like a lot of people just really weren't sure where to go with any team at all. Carson had said that earlier in this podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah. So the sentiment, I wasn't alone in that sentiment, but I really wasn't sure where to go with it. So when Rajan kind of gave me this team, I was like, oh, that's different. I could use that. That's a weird mon. And it just kind of turned out that when you use weird mons, nobody knows their calcs against you, and you're just really able to take advantage of that. The other two losses I had in the tournament were like, I got unlucky one round and I made a major misplay another round. So I had 3 losses to like just really, losing. Didn't play well enough, but the team performed like pretty excellently for a mon that really has no respect on its name at all. I maybe don't recommend it to everybody because it's a little bit tricky to pick up and play. It does seem like when you look at it instantaneously, you kind of think it's, oh, you just click follow me Shell Smash. That's a bit brain dead. But people do have a lot of counterplay to that, chiefly like spread moves and things that are faster. But really, it can be a bit tricky to play. But if you are able to figure out what you are trying to do and how to get around what they are trying to do, like if you have a good understanding of other teams in the format, you probably will see a lot of success with Blastoids. I don't expect people to use it though, honestly. It definitely has a lot of disadvantages as well.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Super cool to see. Congratulations again, going 8-3. It was it was kind of sick. It was really sick to see.
Super unexpected.
Yeah. I was just telling people. It's like, who are you rooting for? They're like, oh yeah, I'm rooting for the Blastoise guy. It's like, wait, there's a Blastoise in day 2? Oh yeah. All right. I do gotta quickly shout out the pledge Empoleon Blaziken guy that made top cut. Congrats to Brian. I think they also made day 2 at Baltimore, if I recall correctly, with the team. They've been grinding this team, which is cool to see. Can't talk about it too much, but I think we probably talked about it in the Baltimore recap as well. Also got a shout out Uncle Lou, who is back. He's playing Pokemon again. What happened? Did poker not work out for you, man?
I played him. I played him actually.
He's it's cool to see him coming back and immediately top cutting first event in a long time. And then Jackson Manning repping Indiana local. I lost to him at a midseason showdown a couple weeks ago, so it's cool to see him in top cut as well. But yeah, any other teams that you want to quickly highlight, I guess, before we move on to Lille?
No, I think moving on to Lille seems good.
That's a good
don't
move.
want to keep these boys here forever. We're already kind of at 7, so
I did tell you we got
7 my time.
We had a lot to talk about today. There were 2 events and the 3 events we got to talk about. So apologies for the longer show. I hope that no one watching at home minds too much. We got the 2025 Lille Regionals in France. We don't know how many players there are. None of us are attending, right? As far as I know. And looks like we got Charlie, David, Lou, and Marcus as casters, which is always really fun. Victory Road will be doing that one. Yeah, and so I don't have a ton to say about this event because I don't know much about what to expect other than it's going to be probably some boring ass balance stuff. We'll see what the we'll see.
Right.
But yeah, I guess are we just want to jump right into smart money?
So I guess the main things to talk about are like how many people are actually going to this thing. Do we have any idea? It's not listed here.
That was my question.
Right. No, I'm looking for like maybe no, I'm not even seeing a sign up link because I could maybe click that and see if it was full. Oh, sign up instructions. Signups are sold out.
I mean,
Wait,
I
can't you usually
assume
check on Arcanine Labs what the entry is?
Only if you register.
you have to be signed up for the tournament. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'd assume it's full. I mean, Europe, pretty easy to get around by train. Like,
Right.
it should be pretty easy for most everyone who wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's big.
I imagine
However
that this
big
is,
Dortmund was.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably like in the range where we find most of our majors these days, which is like over 500, less than 1,000. So probably 800, 700, something like that is a fair guess.
Yeah.
And that means that we'll just see the same old structure, assumedly, with 8 rounds day 1, 3 rounds day 2, and then a top cut. It looks like it'll be another official stream, though, so another good one to watch back home. Every time that there's one that's being streamed and Audie's home for, he's gonna be like, "Are we rewatching this one on stream? Maybe. We'll see."
We'll see. Y'all seem to really enjoy it. I think it'd be fun to do again. So I don't think I have anything going on this weekend, so I might just do it. No promises, but we might do it.
Yeah. Right. Yep. And otherwise, it's going to be awesome to just watch. I don't know. I've been on the bench forever, and it feels like so long, even though it's just been a couple of months. There's all these majors happening, and I'm at least enjoying watching them. I had a great time watching Louisville. I'll be happy to watch this one too, or maybe not because Europe's boring as shit. Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and let's do some smart money here then. So,
do it.
Tommy, starting with you, pick your favorite European that you think could win this thing. Who do you got?
I legitimately don't even know who's playing.
Right, that's why I'm saying.
Right, my controversial take would say like, Tehran's pretty strong. He could maybe win it.
Okay, Taran, sure.
All right.
Yeah, the other thing is like if somebody's going, always a good bet.
I don't even know if he's going. I don't even know if he's going.
Right. But sometimes you just gotta take a shot in the dark and just pick a name that you recognize. Carson, do you know anybody that's going? Anybody that you'd pick for smart money? What do you think?
I'm gonna go with the real safe and boring pick, just like EU's teams, and pick Michael Kelch.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He did really good at Dortmund. Obviously, did amazing at Worlds both years he's played. Like, I just think he's one of the strongest players right now. So, don't really think I can go too wrong with that one.
All right, so Lille was held earlier this year, right? I know that we didn't do a preview. I don't normally do the previews for Europe because I'm most certainly not an expert on the region, and so if you asked me to figure out which events were in the same country, I might name a German one or something. But this one is in Italy.
France.
Is this Italy?
Almost.
France. Shit. See, that's why. Yeah, that's why you
It's
don't ask
France.
me.
I think.
This one was won by. Was it won by Roxon earlier in the year?
No, he went
Was
Stockholm.
that the one
right?
that? He went Stockholm. See, this is why we don't ask me. Regardless, that's who I want to pick for my smart money is Antonio.
Okay.
Good choice.
So actually, I got this one pulled up. Tyron was in top cut. And it looks like this one was won by Sanvi. Actually, this was the one that he used the Hirofumi team to win.
It was the Sanvi versus Aurelian finals. I remember that one.
Yeah. Okay. So you got Antonio. That means I get to pick the hometown hero, the greatest French player of all time, and in my opinion, maybe probably one of the 5 best players in the world right now. I gotta pick Aurelian. They are probably gonna lose in finals once again, but yeah, I gotta pick Aurelian. They are absolutely nuts.
As long as we don't get any of the finalists, then you'll still win.
That's what I'm going for. Oh, MDB won Stockholm.
is-
Roxon won Liverpool, right? That's the one.
Right,
Liverpool.
right.
Yeah,
Liverpool.
it starts with L.
Yo, is Suika going to this one too?
Good question.
So Speaker pops up at like every event. Dude's got unlimited money.
Who knows? But yeah, that's that. I know we've gone a little long, but do y'all have time to stick around for smart money or for the Calc is right? Excuse me.
Of course I do.
Sure, let's do it.
Hell yeah. All right. So Calc is right is a little game that we like to play at the end of the stream where one person will name a damage calc, and the other 3 of us will have to guess a percentage amount of damage that move will do. If we get it inside the range, then we are correct, and if we get it outside the range, then we are wrong. And we like to let our guests go first if you want to, if you have one in mind. Tommy, Carson, do you have a damage calc in mind that you want to quiz us on?
Oh, I got one. All right.
Go for it.
I'll have to think.
How much damage does an Indeedee female 0 special attack, no terrain psychic do to a Sneasler?
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
I got a number.
So this is just nothing Indeedee, no terrain.
Just raw,
versus,
no terrain, no.
versus like 4 HP Sneasler.
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Do I type it out? I don't remember where.
no.
Right?
No. The way that we do it is we just like all verbally confirm. So Carson, are you ready?
Oh, I'm playing too?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't even
Yeah,
realize.
we're I know you're probably thinking of what your calc is.
Yeah,
going
I was
be,
trying to
but
come
yeah.
up with one. I wasn't ready for this.
Okay, Carson, the calc is just Indeedee psychic. Actually, yeah, Tommy, you repeat it.
All right. So it is a 0 special attack, no terrain Indeedee female psychic into a 4 HP Sneasler.
Okay.
You ready?
I guess.
All right.
What's that?
Tommy, pick on someone to start, and then we'll just go around like that.
Carson, give me your number.
I'll say 130.
Okay. How about you, Alex?
113.
Adi, your turn.
Y'all are going too high. I know. I've run this Pokemon. I think it is. I think pretty sure it's a roll to KO. I'm gonna go with 100.
Dog, all right.
And now,
So
we're gonna pull it up.
Adi's gonna go plug it on the stream now.
So 0 special
And-
attack Indeedee with no terrain. Going
terrain.
into a Sneasler, just the
4 HP.
standard 4 HP set. It automatically reset terrain, and that actually does pick up. It does 148
Yeah, man.
to 179.
Wow.
y'all are not respecting Indeedee enough.
That's right. I forgot. My internal I was so confident. My internal calcs was Psychic Seed. Yeah. Okay. So that does way more than I thought. I really thought it was going to do less. I was pretty sure it was a roll. Damn.
It is 4x, not 2.
I knew that it had a higher special defense stat than physical defense stat. I thought it was like a little bit higher. I don't think a reasonable amount of extra base stat there gets it to my range, though. I think I was just pretty off. I knew that Indeedee was going to kill, though. Like, Indeedee's got a reasonable special attack stat there. It's 95 base, so
if the Sneasler's at +1 SPDF, it's doing like 102 to 125. So
Mhm.
you're close.
still gets there.
Yeah, you're close.
All right.
Okay. Carson, did you happen to think of one in time, or should we have somebody else go before you?
I thought of one.
All right. What is it?
Okay. How much does a 4 attack Jolly +1 annihilate close combat with helping hand due to Garchomp?
Helping hand close, or +1 helping hand close combat, the chomp. Okay.
Yeah. It's 4 attack
Jolly.
Jolly Ape.
Sorry, helping hand and +1?
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. I got mine.
I got it.
Sure, I got a number.
All right. Audie, start us off.
This I feel like this has got a KO. That's a lot of multipliers. I'm gonna say 135.
Okay. Alex?
It's not what Audie said, I'll tell you that. I have 80.
Okay.
Wait, +1
Tommy?
attack and helping it. All right.
I think it's 112.
Audie, the one thing I'm curious if you missed or not is that it's 4 EVs, Jolly.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Audie can
All right,
pull
so
it
you're just
up,
bad.
but
So you're just bad. Okay,
it's
you're
gonna
just stupid,
be
huh?
a 93.8% chance to kill.
Oh,
Wow.
dang. Okay.
Because this calc actually, if Carrie had lost to Zhejiang, this was the calc I was game planning around beating his chomp with, because I knew that like no one was gonna know the +1 scarf gambit close combat with helping hand calc.
And you
Jeez.
couldn't final gambit for what reason? Because
Well, because I wanted to close combat the next one that comes in too.
makes sense. Got it. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, there was an
all right,
instant, there was a gambit, there was lots of juicy close combat targets on that team.
Damn.
I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong, and so Adi, I think your number was closer than mine. I think I was off by 18%. You're only off by 14. So I called you stupid, and I'm stupider.
I was like, I know that helping hand close combat from Adamant Sneasler is also like this almost the same role to KO Garchomp. And I was like, yeah, I thought that like +1 Annihilate is probably doing more damage than a Sneasler is, but I guess not. I guess it's doing the same.
Well, it's like, what's its attack stat? With
Sneasler's 130, right?
Well, no, what's the ape's like raw stat? Because I know Sneasler hits 200 with Adamant.
It is 136, so it actually is almost exactly the same stat number then, +1.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. All right, Alex, you got one or should I go?
I got one, and I'm kind of stealing one that I thought would have happened or something. You know, I was a little disappointed we didn't get a Blastoise calc. Like, what the heck? So I guess I'm gonna have to, do it myself. And the Blastoise here was Terra Water and Splash Plate. Do you mind saying how many EVs in offense it had?
It was just 252, bro.
But
Yeah,
like modest or timid, I guess.
It was modest.
Modest, yeah. So we have like everything. I want to know how much does helping hand. We're not going to factor in torrent. We're not. Well, also I'm talking about water spout, which would do
Click and spout.
Torrent.
Yeah.
Full HP spout, baby.
Full HP spout from Blastoise at +2 in the rain with helping hand. I want everything. So we have Terra Water, helping hand, rain +2. Spout, and we're hitting this into standard Assault Vest Archaludon. I just want to know how much that guy's taking. So like 282 HP, 4 SPDF. I think the default calc has a bit more special defense than that, but I want to do just 252 4.
All right.
I'm ready.
I know it. I'm pretty sure. Right? Well, I know it.
Yeah, I'd hope you know this.
I know what happens.
Adi, you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. We're not gonna call on Tommy first, of course. So, Adi, you seem super certain. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it KOs without helping hand. I feel like. So wait, did you say rain boosted or not rain boosted?
Yeah, we got rain. We got rain.
We got
Helping
rain.
hand.
Yeah.
Got
I
all
think
the
it's-
bells and whistles.
If you have rain up, I'm pretty sure it KOs without helping hand. So you throw in an extra 50% damage, and I'm gonna say 155.
All right. Carson, where are you feeling it?
130.
130. All right, Tommy, what's the real answer?
I'm pretty
Don't
sure
get
it's
it
like
wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's like 180 to 190, something like that.
Oh my
If
god.
that's right,
+2 Terra Water.
Holy.
We don't give it Torrent, dude. No. Water
Yeah, that's what I was
spout.
talking about. Torrent, but you can't do torrent.
Into
Splash plate.
Oh, we got
Splash plate. +2.
got the splash
water.
plate going. And we got Helping Hand. All right, and then we got into Archaludon, and it's only 252.4 as well. And we got the rain up too. It's doing 134 to 158, unless I missed a multiplier.
go.
Finally got one.
Dang, so I think it's just Audi then.
What did Carson say?
I got the ape one. I said 113. It was 116 max.
No, I'm saying just Audi got this one.
Oh yeah.
Wow, it actually does not pick up without Helping Hand consistently. That's crazy. You really need all the multipliers to get this.
Yeah.
And it just in one, but as long as you're not facing Stalwart, you could also click follow me and get it in two.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
and I guess if you're facing the one Stalwart one in the tournament, that one's not wearing an assault vest. I think that thing's dead.
I think it has
You
one
don't want
HP
to be
left.
clicking. You don't want to be clicking Shell's Mesh there anyway.
All right.
I guess we need one more, right, Adi?
We got one more, and then I got it for you. And I hope that we all know our Executor calcs, because we got the Executor. And the Executor, I gotta check its item. It was Focus Sash, right? Focus Sash. Let's say it's modest, because I think it's probably, I actually don't know Executor speed stat. Let's say it's modest. 252 special attack, expanding force in psychic terrain into what are we hitting? Let's say, what's the Calc default Cliff Fable? Yeah, into the 252 for Calm Cliff Fable, that is the Calc default. How much is the Eggy expanding force doing? Just raw.
Is it modest or?
It's modest.
Timid.
It's in psychic terrain,
Modest.
and that's it. That's the only multiplier.
And we didn't Terra or anything.
Nope, no Terra.
Okay.
I got an answer.
I got one.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
Tommy, you ready?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like 70%.
70%. All right.
Yeah.
Carson, what are you thinking?
65, but now I look like I'm copying.
All right, Alex, what do you think?
I was less confident in the egg than these folks. I mean, expanding force is strong, but I had like 50%. I'm not changing my number. I feel like I'm just wrong.
50%.
But I'm just gonna stick with 50 because I was just like, it's a spread move and it's slightly Spadef Clefable. We didn't put anything else extra on this. It doesn't have a helping hand or a Terra Psychic or an item.
Nope. And you are all wrong. Every single one of you got it wrong.
What?
It is doing 51.9 to 61.3%.
Oh shit, dude!
What?
Eggy
Bookended
sucks,
it.
man.
You know,
Eggy
it's bookended
sucks.
it.
Yeah, Alex,
That's insane.
just barely whiffing there. But yeah, not quite getting there. You gotta double tap it. It's I don't think that any psychic, I don't think any expanding force user actually picks this up. So it's not unreasonable. They're all
No.
two-shotting. But yeah, not quite getting there.
They all
I
need
would
like
KO
Terra
it with
Psychic or something.
easily with my. No, I feel like I easily get that with my Terra Psychic weakness policy, Armor Rouge at +2 in Psychic Terrain.
I don't think you
It's
do.
unaware. It's unaware, bro.
You're right. It's unaware. I skill swapped them before.
Wait, before you use the weakness, before you use the.
Yeah, it's skill swap Armor Rouge.
But then they got the speed boost. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All right, that was fun. All right, thank you all for tuning in. This was a lot of fun, and thank you both Carson and Tommy for coming on the channel. I really appreciate you guys.
You bet.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. And with that, we're gonna wrap it up. As per usual, if you missed out on the start of this episode or any part of this episode, this is available on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to come over on Twitch and hang out. We are going to be doing some more streams. We might be restreaming the regional this weekend if you want to get some hard-hitting analysis while the games are going on in between rounds and whatnot. Yeah, it should be a good time. and I'm going to send you over to who are we sending it over to? We're gonna send you over to Master Mark, who looks like he is just starting up for the day, and I'm trying to see what he's using. All right, well, he's using some rain. So if you want to see some, he's using the Sinister Rain team. So I think one of the stronger teams no one's using in this format, except for Pengi, I guess. If you want to watch some of the best gameplay you've ever seen, according to that one guy that I talked to after round 4, you should definitely check this stream out. Go tell him where you came from, and yeah, have a good night, y'all.
A, B, see ya.